Hello and welcome to Critical Tumblr, where a bunch of longtime friends and nerdy-ass Tumblr users transcend geography through the power of Skype to play Dungeons & Dragons, and critically fumble a lot. Unfortunately, Lindira, who plays Clarity, our tiefling rogue, cannot be with us today. She'll be watching this later, but she hasn't missed anywhere near as much as our poor Dragonborn did in the previous session. Things happen, we know. We're still really, really apologetic about it.
It'll happen.
Yes. Previously, the Cupcake Coterie is still trying to get themselves together to go back to Star Coast to at least evacuate the few people who are still surviving there, and if they can figure out how to do it, cleanse the place, because they're a little bit worried that the magic that is keeping the fog that has reanimated, mutated, and generally monsterized everyone in town, they're a little worried that the magic that's keeping it locked to that city is finite. They don't know how long it will last, but eventually it's going to break down and it's going to start spreading. They've been largely putting together arms and armor, picking up various bits and pieces from the Goldendale Market Fair, and speaking to the bards of the College of Lore, of which Darwin is now a journeyman member. They spoke to a bronze-scaled dragonborn named Torin, who had been watching the party throughout most of the market fair. Furseth had gone with the Hearthhearts as a bodyguard, because, they did send them back with a fairly impressive sword and 500 gold, so given how the Goldendale guards had been talking about, the beasties and things that they had to hike up taxes to pay for, which they later found out was complete crap, but never mind, they still decided better safe than sorry, which was a little unfortunate because Torin had a lot to say about, the whole situation with the black ooze and the fog and the mutations and all the rest of it. And one question that, frankly, Froseth couldn't have answered anyway, which is, how did you survive? They learned a few things about Dragonborn culture, and now they're kind of stuck explaining to Froseth what happened to his people. Along with a few other errands that they still need to run. In any case, they came home, some more inebriated than others. Froseth would have had a moment of half awake, listening to the occasional bit of thump bash from the other room, because Nora had a few. Darvin was a little bit quieter, but it was dark. He had a couple, and he did end up tripping over his loot at one point.
So one thing, before everyone's back, would I be able to do a kind of like a moment alone with Miranda and
of course.
Twilly?
Yes, usually after dinner is best, because you can sort of, while the kids are getting ready for bed, you can help with dishes and things. Although they'd actually have to stick him on a stool so that he's not having to hunch while he dries.
Yeah. Okay. So let me see. So Miranda, Twilly, this morning, when I went out and did my meditation on the water, it showed me a lot, but some of the stuff I retained, I saw the two of you having a conversation while you were out, or after you were training, I guess.
They don't say anything. They're waiting for you to finish, but you can tell they've gone pretty quiet.
I it seemed like a personal moment. I don't want to intrude. I don't know why. Well, I can. I saw a lot of things, and it's just something that I retained. But Hazel is obviously very important to you, and so he kneels down so he gets like eye level with them, not to like diminish them or anything, just
It's
so
not.
he's
It's not condescending.
yeah
It's trying to actually. It's more polite than
yeah.
anything else. Yeah.
So and basically like as serious as he can. I promise I will do everything in my power to bring Hazel back to you, or die trying.
Twilly looks like she's going to cry and hugs him. Miranda looks at him for a long moment and then says, "You may have got snippets." Well, first I'll start by saying thank you. But the second thing is that you saw what we had done, the portrait we had done. That conversation didn't only apply to Hazel. Yes, she's been dear to our hearts longer, but it's funny, I had a fairly similar conversation not too long ago. Affection, love, even of the familial, friendly type, it can happen in a remarkably short amount of time. And we would be as devastated if you died trying as we would be if she died. Take care of each other. That is all we'll ever ask.
Okay.
And then she hugs him once she gets the idea that he actually understands.
Yeah. So he hugs them back, and yeah.
And so at which point Twilly sort of goes, all hail to the most diverse family in Baronsphere! And
What?
Miranda's just face palming, going, now we have humans and tiefling and dragon. Are you saying that we've now collected the whole set? Well, not exactly. We've never had a full elf. We don't want a full elf for the most part.
Wow.
And the joking continues on from there, and clearly Twilly has said that as much to leaven the moment as anything else.
I love this family.
Was there anything else?
No,
Just I don't override you. Yeah. So beyond that, and a few hours later, after trying to attune to the air, but having a little trouble actually attuning to the air because you're basically climbing trees with kids. It's not exactly conducive to any kind of attunement, but you could try that again a little bit later. You could tell it wouldn't be a bad place.
Yeah.
You go to bed a little bit after the kids do. Wake up briefly with bong, twing, twing, sorry, and Keth just rolling over, grumbling and putting a pillow over his head. And going back to sleep. In the morning, Nora will probably sleep through this because I'm sorry you're paying for that.
I knew that was a possibility. I did.
But Twilly, when Nora finally wakes up, because she wakes up, funnily enough, Hazel is up before her.
Wow.
Yes, Hazel wakes up come the morning with Zana poking her and going, "It's not cake pan, sorry."
Latch hug.
That flailing gnome limbs. But there's gonna be eggs and we got bacon and Miss Nora's still asleep. So Miss Clarity and Mama already went out. They had some. You're supposed to ask. It. Okay, sorry. Deep breath. We have company. It's all been really exciting. I climbed trees. Mom and Miss Clarity went to town. They said they had an errand. They said Mama would tell you the errand, so it's probably grown-up stuff.
Okay.
But you might want to wake up, Miss Nora. Furseth is basically alone in the training ground. And he wakes up probably around about the same time as Keth, sort of going, I don't know if Hazel's gonna tell you, but Mom and Mama finished your laundry. It's in the linen cupboard.
Okay. Thank you.
You'll know, wake trippy instruments over there. Great. Cause I gotta warn you. Well, gotta warn him, but I'm not waking him up. The little gnome, little Evan. You've been asking a question that we're having a hard time dodging now. Question being, what's adoption mean? I'm not touching that. And he walks
Yeah.
Darvin is sort of half coming to consciousness with the general impression of half orc being slightly too loud.
Morning, I think.
Yeah, process up, dressed, trained, meditated is good to go, but yeah, beyond a little bit of a headache and the feeling like you've been sucking on a week-old sock, you're pretty much okay.
Oh yeah, that was the
Yeah.
Yeah.
In any case, you're confronted with mildly hungover Darvin.
Hi. Yeah. The breath, just the morning after breath, just hi.
This is not the air you want to be communing with.
Well, I say that I get a whiff. Oh, sorry. Sorry.
You okay there?
Yeah, it was flashing back. Yeah. Flashing
Leave
back
everything
over.
to Mom. It's all right.
That's
Mom
when everything
will
kind of,
handle it.
Yeah.
it's Froseth, and info, and
Meantime,
I'm okay.
Hazel's been woken up in enough time to get Nora out of bed and to breakfast. Nora is going to be made. You know that thumping headache and the whole I can never drink enough water, but if I put anything much in my stomach, it's going to be bad. So, unfortunately, we've sent Hazel to wake her up from that.
Oh dear.
Fair warning, my neighbor apparently has decided now is a good time to mow their yard. I'm hearing it go by. I don't know if you guys can hear it on the mic.
I haven't, no.
Nope.
Okay, good. Well, I've had it muted up to like right now.
Yeah, I'm still not hearing it, so.
Okay, cool. So, Hazel's come to wake me up. Yay.
Hazel's just walks in, walks past wherever Darvin has been.
Well, they've got a separate portion of the There's sort of boys section and girls section. Just to avoid
completely ignores the boys section, goes straight in looking for Nora.
Like face down on the bed, like still have like my shoes on because what is getting dressed for bed when you're that drunk? No, you just fall in the covers. Yeah, you just fall in the soft things. But yeah,
Hazel's just, oh boy. Do I ask for Paylor to piece her back together first, or do I attempt to get her up?
The eternal question.
No, she says this aloud, and Darvin can probably hear her.
The walls are not hugely thin, so probably not. You'll probably have heard, footsteps.
Deliberating.
Do you want to go?
Lesser restoration.
Oh, yes. I was gonna suggest either go for chaotic or go for good. Those are your choices in that situation.
She's just okay. Nora's grumpy enough. Normally, I'm just going to stick with what we do. What we do to make sure.
Oh, come on. From Hazel's perspective, that's fair. So, yes, okay, you cast Lesser Restoration, and Nora is not aware of this happening, but rather than waking up really hungover, she's fine. Absolutely freaking fine. So now might be the time that Hazel does the poking.
He's going to go looking for something to make noise first.
You're gonna get some distance just in case. I love it.
Stick to poke the
Like
bear.
first find noisemaker, back up, and just bonk.
God! What? Why? Okay,
You heard that!
hold on. I remember drinking a lot, and I don't hurt, and you're in here with a gong, and
The question
Either
is,
By
why do
Taylor's
they
race,
have
you're
calls?
fine.
either I'm smarter than I remembered being, or I owe you a thank you. I think it's that one. Thanks.
There
What
is
time is it?
breakfast.
Oh, good. Yay. I like food. Okay, thanks. Gonna kind of like swing myself, roll over, swing myself off the edge of
You
the
left
bed.
your shoes on, by the way,
I noticed that.
and everything else.
Did I call Darvin names last night? I think I did.
You said a lot of things.
I
Names
did.
were some of them.
That is both.
The term, hey, fancy rich boy.
Fancy pants, yeah.
Yes, fancy pants rich boy, while pointing at a deer for some reason.
Yep.
Not entirely, you're a little fuzzy on why, but
Now,
I'm not
if
sure
you'll
if I need to tell him
excuse
I'm
me,
sorry or not, but I'm coming for breakfast. I gotta brush my teeth.
yes. Hazel will also remember about the laundry.
I'm
The-
sorry, that got a little garbled.
Hazel will remember about the laundry.
Oh, laundry. Okay.
Oh, also, Mom and
Hmm.
Mama got the laundry sorted. It's in linen cupboard places, things.
Good. I think this one smells like beer. I probably shouldn't change before I come in for breakfast.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna
Now,
grab some
I'm gonna
books.
go do a thing. Excuse me. Books it
Okay.
right back out the door.
All right.
I mean, to be fair, there is a shirt that you can wear because the linen cupboard's in the main house.
Okay.
But
So-
there is another thing you will notice that Hazel probably didn't, was that because you were a little bit out of it last night, You were using the bag with the 500 gold on it as a pillow, and now there are these quaint-like indentations in your face.
I kept it safe. Okay.
Well, I'm better than Darwin, who did wind up using the presentation case that his sword was in as
Yeah.
spinal support, because he landed on his back, so...
Yeah.
Oh,
So yeah,
okay.
I sit up, feel that shift, and I'm like, oh, good, it's still here.
Okay, so I'm gonna at least make myself where I don't smell like death warmed over before I head up to the main house. I might still smell a little like death, but not death warmed over.
Yes, Miranda is presiding alone over the breakfast table, and there is a conspicuous absence of clarity. Hazel will have been, Hazel already knows. Nobody else does. So basically, it's just Miranda herding kids and sort of with trays of scrambled eggs and bacon and. The land's coffee has made a reappearance. And Darvin will notice as you get to the breakfast table that despite how much more she consumed, Nora's looking a hell of a lot better than he feels.
Someone's bright-eyed and bushy-tailed.
I've been led to believe I have Pelor to thank for that,
Lucky you.
Sound a little jealous there, Darvin.
Miranda,
Maybe you should make
No,
nice.
no. The correct word is envy.
Miranda just sets a cup of something that smells vaguely medicinal in front of Darvin, pats him on the head, and moves on.
Bless you. Ow.
Generations of young people. We're used to this. I understand you had a good time anyway.
We definitely had an interesting time.
There's the word.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. First off, after we're done eating, I can I have a word with you in private?
Of course.
Oh, you're... Okay. By all means.
Perhaps this is a conversation that those of you who remain should have as a unit. I get the impression that this is something that I'm hoping that Clarity at least was aware of this, because I'm sorry, I don't think Hazel mentioned. There was a bit of an errand that required Twilly's specific talents. They'll be gone most of the day. Clarity brought some of her books with her for the times when she's not strictly necessary, but...
Well, I thank you. I was wondering where she was, and first off, we did miss you last night. Had a hell of a time.
Sounds like I should be sorry I missed it.
You missed Darvin
that's a word.
being Darvin in the most Darvin way he can.
Unintentionally.
the kids are all looking at him.
To be fair, it's usually unintentional. There were no feathers involved this time.
That explains so much.
And the kids are all just looking.
Did you all have a fun time with
pulled a
Rosa
me.
while we were gone?
Sorry, I don't think we even heard
Okay.
that.
I said, did you all have a fun time with Froseth while we were gone?
Like four of the kids, Lissy included, going, "We climb trees."
I'll take that as a yes.
Glory to trees. Also, glory to empty forests.
The kids are all looking at Hazel, and Miranda is just giving her the mom look.
Sorry.
And I'm looking at Froseth, just first the retreat. Wait, you climb trees.
Why not?
You're not exactly small. I'm just surprised there were trees back there big enough. Excuse me, strong enough.
I'm pretty light on my feet.
That's fair.
He's giggling maniacally.
Keth folds his arms and goes, trees aren't exactly small either.
Thank you, Kath. Exactly what I was about to say. Gee, you were sheltered, weren't you?
Hey, it's not like they're all those little bitty trees like as far around as Ms. Nora. We're talking that'd be the little ones. We're talking about big ones that are like round about the size of 3 of me.
Fair enough.
Trees get pretty big, Darvin. Fancy pants rich boy indeed.
Fancy pants.
They're not
rich
fancy.
boy.
They're just well tailored.
At which point, Skylar can be heard murmuring to Xana, but I thought he wasn't. Just that we don't point that out. That's impolite. And they spot people looking. They do the we haven't been talking that you see in school classes.
Who, us? But no.
Yeah, just hands clasped in front of them with the big innocent eyes. Like, yes.
Yes, Miss
Hazel's
Nora.
still giggling like a lunatic.
They're doing the yes, Miss Nora.
Apparently in deference to clarity, blueberries have been absent from today's breakfast. There have been strawberries instead, however, and Skylar is just okay. Yeah. I picked the strawberries, and there is actually a little bowl of the strawberries in front of Froseth's plate. This has apparently become a thing now.
That's wonderful.
He's bringing you gifts.
Well, he likes berries in the morning.
And that is very courteous of you, Skylar. I think it's awesome.
Well noticed.
Very.
She debates a minute, looks at Froseth, gives him a little smile, and decides not to tell them that the reason that she knows he likes berries first thing in the morning is because he tried to reach into her empty blueberry bucket the day before. She decides not to mention this, but does just look at Froseth and give him a little smile.
But we know something they don't. Yeah.
Conspiratorial.
It's having a secret with her new big brother. Well, she's 6. She's tiny. Not as tiny as Evan, but 6-year-old half elf. Not exactly. In any case, barring anything that anyone wants to do over breakfast time, turns out the kids are on kind of a half leisure day kind of thing, whereas there's obviously the chores that need to be done for the farm to keep turning over, but because they've just had the big old market fair, things are pretty well set up. So it turns out that the kids are gonna go and have a lunchtime picnic on the docks and do some fishing, and Kath actually asks if we want to take a actual tour around and get some proper fishing in, can we borrow the boat?
I don't see why not. I got no objections.
Well, it's you guys we gotta ask. It's your boat.
Like I said, I have no objections. Anybody else?
No.
I got nothing. This is everyone's boat now.
There you go, Kat. Have it.
Okay. Claps Lissy on the back. Come on, you're gonna teach us how to use a boat proper now. And she just beams as they head off. Once they've headed out with their picnic basket, Miranda sticks around long enough to explain. I had a set of armor that I thought would suit Clarity. The thing is that even though it does have an enchantment on it, it still needed some adjustments to fit someone that much larger. Now, I'm aware that if you know, our Tanner isn't exactly the best at that sort of thing on her own, and usually you need either a very skilled enchanter or the person who placed the enchantment on the item in the first place to ensure that the enchantment stays stable. Given that Twilly actually put the enchantment on it in the first place, I thought I'd send them off. I think it would honestly do Clarity good to have a bit of a chat, just the girls, you know.
I think so too.
I have some things to be getting on with. If you need me, I will be around. But for the time being, at any rate, the house is yours.
Thank you. Do you need us to do anything while we're here and the kids are all gone, or?
Not that I can think of. You can have a look around and tell me where you think the best place for that picture we had done. We were actually thinking, because it's such an all-encompassing sort of a situation, we were thinking of putting it in the living area, because they don't really have a lounge and a dining room. They've just got this one, open plan under the hill area that's got some cushy chairs and stuff along one wall, so it makes for a fairly large conversational nook. And then a little further up, they've got the long dining table. I will actually map out the interior properly one of these days. But I was thinking just there, and she gestures over the plushie. None of them match, and they've all been very carefully reupholstered with whatever happened to be handy, but they look comfy. This is basically the feel of this whole place. It's nothing is thrown away unless it's absolutely beyond repair, and they'll work very hard to make sure it never gets that way. But you can have a look at the other ones in the other rooms if you like. Yeah, with a little less. I love them dearly, obviously, but I can imagine they're a little overwhelming if you're not used to it.
Well, I think we can definitely look around, and I think over the couch is fine. But thank you.
And she gives you a nod and says, "There's lunch fixings on the counter and in the. Be careful with the icebox. I know that probably none of you are really used to that kind of thing. It's part enchantment, part we had a hill gnome. He was very good with tinkering. He gave us some ideas. It just don't do anything but open and close the door."
Yes, ma'am.
Otherwise, things will happen, and you won't like those things.
Yes, Hazel remembers all too well, don't you, Hazel?
Yes, Mama.
She became, I believe, Condred called her Hazelsicle when she tried to poke the ice block, asking how does it work, and the word never finished. We had to call in Lyra for that one.
Is there any more of the medicinal? This is really good, and it's very helpful.
I will brew you some. I don't leave the medicinal herbs out. Okay. Small children, you understand.
Right. Mm-hmm. Of course. Just when you have a chance.
Particularly, and looking at Hazel again, when they want to be helpful and try to add herbs to the stew.
Ooh.
And that's why I made sure to learn what does work, what doesn't work, and what should never, ever, 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 ever work.
And that's also why we lock up the medicinal. And she's She's mixing the leaves as we speak. I mean, we can't really fault Hazel. She'd only just been dropped on our doorstep by those people. Adds a generous dollop of honey to it, gives it a stir, sets it in front of him.
Thank you much.
She sometimes she tries a little too hard to please. Gives Hazel's hair a smooth down, adjusts the bow a bit. You can find me around if you need me. I'm actually going to enjoy some quiet.
Never mind. Never mind.
Dorcas.
She gives you this.
It was
look
amusing. That was all.
Okay. And she exits, leaving you all to whatever conversation you are planning to have.
I gotta check a thing. I need right back.
Well, and I need to go run to my room or something and roll something real quick and grab something. I'll be right back too.
Right out the door.
This might be while you're waiting for those two to come back. I know Froseth is a very polite dragonborn. This might be the time to mention Keth's comment.
I was about to, yeah.
Yeah.
Darvin, while they're not there, you may want to have a conversation with Evan. They've been saying he's been asking about what adoption means.
Oh,
and
boy.
They've been trying to politely avoid it, and yeah.
Yeah, I kind of figured that was going to come up eventually. Yeah, I will. Damn. I was kind of hoping to get that done first. Okay. Right. Okay, I'll just have to do it before. Okay. Yep. Well, we've got the big picture, so. Okay, that works.
So what are you two looking for in your various
I'm going back for the necklace that Torrin gave me, and I'm just going to slip it in my pocket to bring back up to the house. Because it was still in the bag.
Hazel's checking the scarecrow.
Yeah,
Okay.
Why?
Oh!
Nora will actually see Hazel booking it for the fields, giving a satisfied nod as she determines it has not moved. Looks in the other, runs across, looks in the other direction. That one hasn't moved either. Yeah, but all Nora sees is pad, lean, little nod. Pad, lean, little nod. And then pads back, looking mollified somewhat.
All right.
What?
What are you doing?
Making sure the scarecrow hasn't moved.
Scarecrows.
It's a scarecrow.
You land every single bloody time that bunny grubbing asshole.
Small words start from the beginning.
And when you get to the end,
and
stop.
it's not every time. It's just when a really big jackup happens.
So, okay, remember, local baron is a money grubbing asshole. You might be little hazy on that, given the whole empty forest thing and pointing at deer.
Here's what I remember. I remember money grubbing asshole. Yes, I remember the market fair guards. I don't know that.
Well,
I remember not having trouble on the walk home.
When they hike up taxes particularly a lot, Mom and Mom have had to sell off chunks of land.
You're using the scarecrows as markers. Got it. Okay. Makes sense. All right. I'm going to go grab that necklace. Don't say anything to Froseth until I get
Not gonna. I got things to worry about. Just gestures to the borders of the property.
We're going to make sure they're okay, Hazel. You know that.
Yeah, I know. It's a thing.
I can't blame you for
Makes her way
worrying,
back in to go plonk herself down next to Darvin.
Right. And I'm going to continue on and go grab the necklace out of the bag of holding.
Back?
Yep.
And then I will make my way back to you.
What, okay.
I checked the scarecrow, nothing's moved.
Yay?
Yeah, Hazel unfortunately is going to have to get through that explanation alone because it is a little bit of a walk.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Already told Nora, but remember the money grubbing?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, Clary and I
Asshole.
saw them, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, we saw the guards.
Every time they hike the taxes up a lot, Mom and Mama have to sell off land to keep things going. They sell off enough, we're not going to have this place anymore, and that's not happening.
Of course not. We'll make sure it doesn't.
And just to make sure nothing's gone missing since, the scarecrows are there for that.
Right. Okay. That makes sense.
Okay. Oh, sorry, that was an in-character thing. Okay. By the time Nora comes back, the confused looks have started to give way to, oh right.
Yeah.
scarecrows?
Mm-hmm. I get it now.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
So I'm going to pull this thing out of my pocket. I've got it in my hand, but I've got just the leather showing. I've got the metal plate toward my palm, everything kind of. And I sit down. And where are we? What are we sitting? Am I sitting next to you for a second or across from you? Where are you? And somebody work up how you want to sit.
Well, look at it. It depends on if you want to sit at the dining table, or if you want to sit in the cushy chairs.
I figured Darvin was still at the table nursing a hangover. Am I wrong?
Sort of.
Then you had a Hazel just drop into the seat next to you.
And I was like, welcome back. And then the conversation.
Water would probably be a good plan too.
Oh, yeah.
Darvin.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess I'm sitting next to Proseth, and I'm gonna I put my fist kind of on the table, and I'm still hiding everything with leather. You should have been there last night. That bronze dragonborn was looking for you, and this is what. And I kind of slide it toward him, and then I just kind of take my hand away.
To give a description for somebody who can actually read Draconic, what Nora's just handed him is a smallish rectangle of obsidian with silver characters engraved into it, sort of Chinese poetry style, up and down. The first line reads, Froseth. The second one, I'll just check my notes here. The second one reads Rhyme Hook, RIMEHOOK. It appears to be a surname.
He just kind of stares at it speechless, not really sure how to process.
He told us a lot. He knew your clan. And what happened to them is connected to what we ran into at the Star Coast. There's not. You're all that's left. And he found that, and he made me promise to tell you that whoever got you out. Loved you very much. And he doesn't know how or why you were allowed to keep your draconic name. But he thought maybe the people, the monks at your monastery might know more.
Okay.
There's more detail, but that's the gist.
I was gonna start with the gist and let him.
Yeah, right. Sorry.
Yeah, because look at the poor
He's hanging
man.
around town in case you wanted to talk to him.
Sorry, Nora.
I'm sorry for Seth.
Yeah, sorry. There's no easy way to put any
No.
of this.
Yeah, it's... So you say... Ugh.
I'm just gonna kind of reach over and I'm gonna kind of reach over and lay a hand on his arm and just kind of touch him and then just solid, quiet solidarity, quiet support.
Yeah.
Hazel's gonna get up, walk around the whole table, and hug him.
He sort of doesn't even react to the hug.
Yeah.
Like, well, let's start with what I know to tell you. I actually only found out my, I guess, birth name shortly before leaving the temple. I went by Kaiden for most of my life. Going out into the world, they let me know the name. I decided to go by it merely, basically on the rare chance I'd run into someone who might recognize it. It's... The name itself wasn't important to me. It's just wanting to know where I was from.
Well, we did find that out.
The fact that this has happened, I never expected it to actually happen, and if it did not happen so soon after leaving. And I'll admit, it has me suspicious.
Well, there is more. I wanted you to have time to process this part. I can tell you what his name was Torin. I can tell you what he told us about what happened to the soldiers. I mean, I don't want to push and give you more information than you're ready for at once. It's a lot. This, and I kind of reach over and tap the necklace. This is a lot.
It's potentially a lot. The first time we saw him, you said my name. He may have heard it. He may have had this made. I don't want that to be the case. But
okay, guys. First of all, straight intelligence check.
Okay, so
from just him or from all of us?
Me.
All of you.
All of us.
All right. That's a saving throw. Where's
my sheet?
Jarvin actually gets advantage on this.
Lucky.
Oh, dude, I rolled really good.
That you said just a straight intelligence check, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Woo!
Holy!
Okay. In which case, I am sorry, but with that roll, those words are out of Frostus' mouth before he realizes this craftsmanship. This would take days. And the thong on it is worn. It actually does look like it's been exposed to the elements. This could not. He's reaching. He says that, and then he realizes just how much he's reaching.
He is emotionally compromised.
Yes, he's smart enough to see it. So is Nora, and it takes Darvin a minute, but he recognizes the. I'm just pulling things out of my ass at this point because I'm not coping.
Because Darvin's done it himself a few times, trying to come up with like, oh God, what am I going to tell these people?
When I say this is a lot, and I touch the necklace again, when I say this is a lot, I don't mean the necklace itself. I mean the information that he gave us, that I just shared with you, is a lot to process.
And I don't think it was because, of the name. I think it was just because of, for lack of a better way to put this, what you are.
I hadn't told him that part yet.
Well, I mean...
So in all fairness, he didn't know, but I promise you this wasn't made up. This isn't a scam or a ploy or a scheme. There is so much more information. Why do you think I came home drunk as a skunk? There is a lot. And I don't want to give you more than you're ready for at once. Because most of it pertains to you and what happened to your people. And we might not be dragonborn, but we're your family now, and we care.
Enthusiastic nodding.
Yeah.
Gotta keep biggest bro.
After coming to the realization, he clutches the amulet a bit tighter. Not actually doing anything with just holding on to it. Okay, what else?
Here's what I remember, because I was already starting by that point, and how he got to, some of it is fuzzy, but what I remember is there's essentially an old legend, a really old story, that something terrible was essentially scattered and buried, and that different people were set to be guardians of those pieces. But it was a legend he had to work hard to find, and the reason he went looking was he was traveling and came across a group of Silvers who had taken in two other travelers, two humans, and when he left them and when he came back, he found the Silvers being forced to dig up what looked like the black sludge from the Star Coast. When he came back again, the village had been razed, and there was no sign of the Silvers, no sign of anyone except for decimation, and I think remains of bodies and that necklace. I think that's all of the short version.
Literally, the first question he had for us was how you actually survived. That's how total it all was.
I wish I had information there.
He doesn't even know who took you down to the monastery. He didn't know any of that. But he did tell us that you are the last Silver Dragonborn.
Torin was his name. And his clan got messages from the Silver Clan. Is what happened there.
That's right. That's right.
Messages that just stopped.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why you
After
went
mentioning,
and found. That's right.
After
Like I said, I already
mentioning
started my.
Yeah, we were all a couple of cups in by that point because this is a lot.
after
for us to take
mentioning
in
the
even.
woman who needs a hammer to the face.
That was one of the. Wasn't that one of the two that got taken in? Wasn't she one of them?
Yes.
If I remember right.
Okay, you guys are all over the place now.
Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah,
Sorry, I'm having trouble following.
What happened was the way he found out about the travelers the Silvers took in were messages the Silvers were trading with his own clan. It just seemed like daily, regular communication type messages trading. Maybe not daily, but you know what I mean. And regular letters back and forth. The Silvers mentioned the two travelers they'd taken in. I know we asked him who the travelers were. I don't remember if he told us how he found out, but one of them was the woman from Baron Levendry's.
How he found out was that he went as far as he could past.
I knew he'd gone up there.
To simplify this a little bit.
Thank you.
When the messages stopped coming, Torin was about to. He was of an age where he could go out into the world, so he went to find. The cause of these messages, because the last couple had been these people that they'd sent to help. That these people they'd taken in because they'd gotten lost in a blizzard, apparently looking for the place. Because most Dragonborn, as far as Torin said, people are mostly scared of them, so they keep to themselves. But the polite ones are like, if you want to come visit, that's fine. But we understand if you don't. And we'll send a couple to, out into the world so that maybe you'll start accepting us. But for the time being, we'll just be over here. But we're happy to have company, really. Let us show you that we're happy to have company. Which they got to do when they found two humans lost in a blizzard. And this apparently made whatever missives they had. The next thing was that they sent the humans back, tended to, properly supplied, and they promised they'd come back because they were fascinated by the culture. They're going to come back with things to share and learn. They came back with an army they described as unnatural.
That's right, forgot about the army.
And then the messages stopped. So Torin went back. By that point, he was of age, and he was curious about the world and his fellow Dragonborn, so he went out to see what the hell. And when he saw what had happened to the clan settlement, he went to follow what tracks he could find, because obviously you're going to have a hard time hiding the tracks of an army. He couldn't get very far. All he would say was that there were dangers. And it's probably, all things considered, just as well he didn't. But he got close enough to at least hear the woman's voice. And he saw her use magic at least once. Clearly very powerful magic.
So there you go. Pretend we told you that in character because...
Yeah.
Need to start doing your exposition homework, guys.
Sorry. I'm usually better at this. I'm sorry.
That's all right.
I let you all down.
It gives me something to do.
Yeah.
And of course, as Hazel points out, he is still in the tavern if Furseth wants to look this guy in the face and figure it out for himself.
He did say he would stick around for another day or two, specifically in case you wanted to speak with him.
I'll need
We're
to.
not. Yeah, we're not pressuring you to. We're not saying you need to, but should you want
I do.
Well, plus he wanted to go into town anyway, for a couple of reasons.
Yeah, no kidding.
Because now
Well,
he's now,
one is well, I guess I still have to go into town and do the other part of that.
and then there's also one he's got half covered. The other one he still needs to talk to Jenna about, and it depending on whether he wants to have a palate cleanser after talking to Torin, or find a reason to delay and have a shot of the raspberry vodka to bolster his courage or something. I don't know.
God, Lord, a dragonborn on vodka. Oof, that's a scary thought.
Yeah, but he's
I take
At
good
least
money.
I'm not going to light the alcohol on fire.
no, ice vodka is a pretty big deal.
I say I'd pay good money.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
This
I
is-
wish. I
This
wish
is
it
going
wasn't
to be
this.
No,
a thing.
you've got nothing to apologize for. You're just carrying this message.
Well, I'm
It's-
sorry that it caused you pain. I can be sorry for that.
I'm sorry that it appears that we both lost a
There-
whole
there's-
lot
there's
due to
pain.
wherever this stuff is.
But there, at the same time, someone. I was left where I was because someone cared. That was always a worry.
Oh.
What? Oh,
Think about where you are. Why every single one of these children were left here.
You weren't discarded.
Yeah.
Hell, if nothing, you were guarded.
Yeah.
Hazel is just continuing to hug Roseth as hard as she physically can.
Sorry,
Which, thankfully, given the size differential, isn't that
right,
much.
yeah.
not gonna be a problem.
Sorry, the lyrical between those two caught my ear. I apologize. I didn't mean to make light.
No, it's okay.
A bard being a bard. Oh, heaven help us all.
Of course, mentioning Bard, Nora suddenly gets this flash of part of the reason that she was having such a hard time breathing halfway home. The clarity thing the
Okay.
whole time.
Oh.
And yeah, she basically starts doing that.
Oh.
Wait, what? Nora, wait. Oh.
On a lighter
Heseltine.
note, if you want to hear something that happened afterwards that was unrelated that might make you chuckle.
Oh my god, you're turning colors.
Oh, see, yeah, completely. I adore you.
Oh, I'm crying. Oh, it's great.
Remember
Remember
Yeah.
the guy whose name I always it's not Heseltine, but
Heseltine.
it is Heseltine. I thought it was Hazelton.
No, it's
Oh, it's
Heseltine.
Heseltine, you goof.
I actually did get it. Great, the one time I get it right, nobody's here. My luck. Yeah, remember
Well,
he seemed to come on a bit strong with clarity at one point, and there was
And
talk of,
Mama promised to squish him.
yeah, well,
The squishing wasn't necessary.
yeah.
No, wait, gentlemen, you of all people should notice at the scene. We
That's
go
what I was
in.
doing.
Heseltine sees us. Okay, then set it because oh my god.
We walk in, and Heseltine looks depleted.
I was going to choose Forlorn, but
Deflated.
Ooh,
knocked
yes.
down a few pegs,
Yes.
as it were.
Yes.
Well,
Despondent.
That's another good one. Yes, I like deflated though. Deflated was a good one.
Deflated was wonderful, especially
Somebody took his
yes.
hat and just kind of went, you know.
Well, given the other connotations when you consider
Yes, like I said, given all, I think deflated is wonderful.
So, well, we were under the assumption that he'd been spoken to.
By
I say,
Miranda, quite
I
thoroughly.
say assumption. Well, we were under the assumption he'd been spoken to by someone, presumably Miranda. Looking back,
Mama didn't
really,
switch him.
could have been anybody.
Bard tells
However, it turns out it wasn't Miranda who had spoken to him. Yes, technically he'd been spoken to, but not about that.
Set the scene.
Tell him what happened, how it was glorious.
Remember, apparently it was her name escapes me because I wasn't
Lyra.
there. Yes.
Lyra.
You were.
Yeah, but you're missing the best part of this
The
whole
gnome,
story.
yes, the gnome was
Zook.
Zook, yes, Zook, the
But
gnome.
you are missing
But
the
you're
best
missing the
part.
best
Right.
part.
Go. Continue.
The conversation that Clarity started.
Was not-
Yes.
Started talking to him, and it got all kinds of awkward.
Oh, no,
And then
no,
Zook goes and says,
Beautiful.
"Yeah,
Hey,
that
hey.
wasn't."
Hazel, let the bard tell it now that we've reminded him which verse he's skipping.
Well, there was a gnome, and
Okay.
the gnome was actually the one that told us what
But
had actually happened.
Clarity marches over, before we leave, Clarity marches over to Heseltine. I remember this part because I was on the bar laughing so hard I can't
Well,
help it.
and she actually legitimately marched over. That took me by surprise. I'd never seen her with that much gravitas, as it were. Just, right up to him.
And she marched over and she told him that while she was not in the habit of having others fight her battles for her, and she appreciated his interest, but he was barking up the entirely wrong tree. And then a gnome, Zook, speaks up and tells us that Miranda actually hadn't had a word with Heseltine at all, that it had been the cleric, Lyra, who gave him medicine for a specific range of diseases.
A specific type.
His exact words were, even if he hadn't been barking entirely up the wrong tree, he wouldn't have been able to do anything about it anyway.
Apparently,
Had to peel me off the bar.
apparently his tree went a little willowy. A little.
That is some fantastic imagery.
Amazing.
And he went to Lyra about it. Yeah, he was probably asking for magical cures. Lyra don't do that.
You do the crime, you do the time.
I'm fairly sure the barman had to peel me off the bar. I was laughing. It was amazing.
I almost joined you, but yeah, they basically had to peel you off the bar.
It was amazing.
So
Has this helped Verseth at all?
Yes.
Yes, this is my family. I made it all by myself.
it's little and broken, but still good.
Actually,
And
no.
weird.
Actually,
And very
no.
weird.
It's huge and very weird, but good. Yeah, still
Definitely
good.
Still good.
So yeah, that was how we finished the adventures in town. And I proceeded to perform. Just to apparently, Torin let us know there were a few families that were concerned about the goings on in Starcoast.
More than that, they lost some family
Yeah.
members in Starcoast.
So, well, we don't know that for sure, but
Well,
more than likely.
The last place these people were was Starcoast.
Yeah. But they also might have been in the inn. So, I mean, I'm not.
Very possible. But
I'm not
you don't
telling
know
the
yet.
families that, of course, because
No,
best not get
no.
their hopes up. But I went ahead and performed, and basically, with Torin's assistance, actually, we dissuaded them from sending anybody else into Starcoast.
No, you sang an amazing saga, is what you did. It happened to dissuade them from going to Starcoast. But you sang, it was amazing. Awe-inspiring is a good word for it.
Oh,
You're welcome.
So that was that, if I recall correctly, was the end of the evening, and then we made our way home very quietly. Well, rather the surroundings were quiet.
Comparatively,
Well,
rather quiet.
Well, I do remember a distinct lack of any sound on our way back.
Okay, I was
Apart
thinking
from when Hazel started yelling.
Well, yeah.
Well, okay, quietly without incident. I was thinking. I don't think you and I were very quiet when we got into bed.
No, but I mean, we would have heard. Yeah.
The look on his face.
Something, anything. There's nothing out there but deer and owls and random woodland critters.
And not moose.
And moose.
That's why I was pointing at
And
the
not
deer.
moose.
That's why, because that's not a moose and it's not a cow.
Right.
That's right.
Right. I remember. I did say that. I said not moose, not cow. Yes, I remember that now. Sorry. By that point, things were a little hazy.
Hazel's still attached to
Fair.
Broseph, but she manages to facepalm.
Sorry, by that point, things were a
You
little
two
hazy.
were so drunk.
And this one has room to talk.
Hey,
You were drunk enough that you had to have a restoration spell cast on you, half a cup in. Don't start with me. I had at least 6. Don't start.
I had.
And vodka. I had vodka too. Don't start.
I think I had 3. No, 2.5.
I didn't do anything really stupid last night, did I?
No, I'm the one that was.
Besides
I'm the one that
laughing
was.
so hard you got glued to the bar.
No, I'm the one that was standing on the table. With a purpose.
With a purpose.
Yeah,
And
you actually did pretty good for being drunk. Nora got confused about the deer.
We got home.
No, I was correcting Darvin's confusion about the deer.
What is Furseth doing while this conversation's happening?
Just listening.
Right, we were in the middle of a deep, important.
Yeah,
Sorry, we got
discussion about
sidetracked.
woodland creatures and making sure that Darvin is aware of zoological categories.
Right. No, I meant.
Because he is a fancy pants rich boy who has not seen that much wildlife in his time.
This is true. So, Broseph,
Yes.
back to the matter at hand.
The night got interesting.
But not too interesting. I don't recall. So hey.
The question is, what now?
Yeah.
What do you want to do right now? I mean, you've got a day. You've got some errands you could do.
Well, we
We need to
So-
go.
we need to head back to town. Froseth, you've got something to wear now. And Darvin, you need to get pictures for your locket.
Yep. Good memory.
I wasn't drunk then.
Point.
Okay.
Are you feeling well enough to head to town yet, Darvin? Or do you
Yes.
need another?
Well,
I'm okay.
That stuff was actually fairly miraculous as these things went. The second cup was almost as much for the flavor of it and just in case as
Yeah,
anything else,
exactly.
because
Mhm.
it was gone. His headache was gone basically by the first cup.
That
Well,
was- yep.
then I still need a change of clothes and probably a quick bath, maybe. And then I think we should head back into town before to make sure we don't miss anything pertinent at the market fair.
Well, no, the market fair's over.
Okay, well then we need to head back into town.
Mhm. Well, you need to see what. Wait, has it been? No, wait. She said 2 days, didn't she?
It's not been
Yeah, but
2 days yet.
she said it might be worth checking in, because you remember how hard at work she was on it when you went to get your weapon.
I want to talk to
Yeah,
her anyway.
Well, that was in. But so yeah, you probably want to go in and see Jenna, because even though she said 2 days, she was going at a pretty good clip, or at least
That's what I remember you saying, and I need to make sure that she was compensated appropriately for that marvelous weapon that you
Mhm.
robbed her on.
which is staying here.
Yes, no, yes it is. Because I don't think you and I would make it very far otherwise. But, not the point.
Okay, I think we can assume that those parties who require one will have had their bath. I imagine Froseth will have had a wash by this point. It probably a little bit. He probably had to have one last night anyway because tree sap and all the rest of it.
I fell into bed dead ass drunk. I need a bath.
Yes, one thing though that that Nora will also notice is that at some point in the evening, she got road crud all over the nice quilt.
Oh no.
Thankfully, Darwin doesn't see this. Hazel was too busy going yeet to notice. So at the moment, it's only Nora who sees.
Oh, I hope I can clean that off. Ah.
I didn't.
What?
I can't do that. You said I didn't see it, so.
Ah. Well, it all depends on what Nora wants to do.
Okay, is this after my bath or before? Is this when I've gone to, when have I noticed this?
You noticed this when you were going to pick up some clothes to take with you so before your bath. One thing, Nora, make me a straight up wisdom check.
Did it roll? It didn't ping on my side.
No.
There it goes. It was late.
You're not sure. You're not entirely sure. Everything's sort of been blurring together in a flurry of way too funny, way too serious, but you're kind of convinced that someone said something about spells that can clean because you remember from Petunia.
Okay, so I'm gonna kind of, we're all kind of back together. Does anybody know anything about spells that might clean up something safely?
Depends on what it is and how big it is, but yeah.
You come here. The quilt. I was too drunk, and there's stuff.
Oh dear.
The
If
quilt,
I remember,
And the quilt is actually sort of palor sunbursts in oranges, reds, and yellows, and there's some sort of. It's not quite mud. It's possible that it's something a little bit more organic than that.
Yeah, I was afraid you were gonna say that.
dear. Oh god.
But it is within the realm of what you can do to clean.
So is prestidigitation a cantrip?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, because I'm gonna do that. Yeah.
I could kiss you right now. You're amazing. Thank you. I feel a lot better. Thank you. Although, I don't remember landing any. I gotta check my boots. Oh man.
You might want to do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it hasn't tracked on the floor, but you know that really annoying spot where you get gum and things sort of just in that spot between the slightly
The heel
raised
and
heel and the
the
rest
arch.
of it.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
man.
Yeah. Okay, that explains so
Strip.
very much. So I'm gonna take outside and scrape off the stick and all that good stuff. We're good.
Okay, so assuming that everyone has cleaned up and nobody has anything else to do around the house, are you going to let Miranda know that you're
Yeah.
Miranda's
more
currently
courteous
working. Miranda's currently working in her herb garden because apparently even peace and quiet, that woman is working. Looks up and, oh, sorry, did you need anything?
I think we're all about to head into town ourselves to run some errands. Just wanted to let you know so we didn't disappear on you.
Oh, before I forget, she sort of edges carefully out towards the windowsill. She doesn't step on anything. Reaches in as far as she can and pulls out Nora's letter and a parcel of spices. If you take this to Lyra, can you give? Can you? What you can describe approximately what direction your family's place is?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Yes.
Obviously, you did, and you've got something that this is going to sound very strange, but smells more or less like you. Well, you have you, so that's fine.
Yeah.
No, what I mean is that Lyra sometimes you've met her, you've met her dragons, her fairy dragons.
Wait, she has dragons?
Fairy dragons.
Think about this one. The fairy dragons at the shrine that followed Crow's
right.
around.
I want to see them.
Those are dragons.
If you wouldn't mind putting a couple of silvers in the offering plate, she will send one of her little ones with message. If you wanted to add something to the effect of they tend to like cookies, so that your parents know to tip their courier.
I think I can manage that. I need to add another postscript anyway. I'll make sure I do both of those things.
And actually hands you a small portable bottle of ink and a quill. Just carry it with you. It'll be easier that way.
Thank you.
Have a good time. Trying to think, is there anything that we need? No, I think we should be good. As I say, have a good time. Come back safe. We'll let the little ones know. Darvin, you are definitely going to want to have a word with Evan.
Man, I was about to.
I know you've been busy. We'll forestall things a little while longer.
Yeah. If you can if it would help, you can let him know that I will. I want to speak with him tonight.
All right. We'll see if it comes up. The little ones have been being very good about making sure it hasn't yet.
Right, but if push comes to shove.
Understood. Have a lovely time, all of you. And with that, we will take our 5-minute break, and we will return with. If you guys think about what you want to discuss on the way into town, so we know whether we can skip the trip or not. Right, we'll see you in 5 minutes.
Yep.
Okay, welcome back. The slightly diminished Cupcake Coterie are now making their way to Goldendale. And on their way, there is one last bit of conversation they probably need to have.
So, Froseth, I know that I mentioned that what happened with your clan was tied into what we'd run into at Star Coast.
Yeah.
And I know that I told you that the legends Torin found said that different groups were appointed guardians of this scattered and buried thing. If not all the groups are Dragonborn. Torin has lots of reason to suspect, and I think he's right that part of it obviously was buried at Star Coast, but the guardians there are the Hearthhearts.
This is the point at which Froseth might remember the book. The one that was in Melinda's care that nearly killed Clarity.
Book we found, and all of the halflings who knew the Hearthhearts there. It made sense.
Yeah.
We don't know how many more pieces there are, or how many more guardians, or if it's just dragonborn and halflings. We don't know. It seems to be that we can only know what's there when we see another incident crop up.
Not true. Torin said notes.
Did he? Oh yeah,
Clarity's got Torin's notes.
Claire's
No, Clarity doesn't have them yet. He was going to get them copied.
Right.
We might learn differently. That Torin said he had notes. We haven't seen them yet. He was going to make copies for Clarity, or have copies made for Clarity.
Okay.
There might be more in the notes that we don't know yet.
At least we know what we don't know.
Huh. That's always somewhere to start.
And Smeagol, you remember we were talking the other day about... remember when Nora asked you about whether you knew whether your grandparents were alive?
Oh, boy. This means we're gonna have to ask Mama about the grandparents.
Or you could just find the outskirts community if it exists. No need to actually mention it.
Either that, or we gotta go looking over there for wherever home used to be. Because it's out. It would be outskirty, wouldn't it? Not dead center in the middle of Bogsville.
Well, like we talked about, if you're there to guard something, you don't want them getting on top of it, so you don't live on top of it.
Mm-hmm. So that's also on the list, isn't it? Trying to figure out where they would have been, and go there, maybe?
Yeah.
I mean, I owe them something.
I think you should get explanations first.
That's on you guys.
Do we need to have the discussion again about how we don't just go in and smite things with no information?
Not gonna smite anything.
I was about
I'm
to
just
ask
gonna
if
let you guys get your information, and then I'm gonna yell at them some.
Oh, okay.
Given what Torin said, look, kicking your mother out of the family for something as simple as falling in love with Twilly doesn't make sense. It doesn't. There might be another reason things happen. Find the reason first before you decide if you're yelling.
That's what I'm relying on you guys for.
If that really is all the reason is, I will be right there yelling with you. Find the reason first.
Okay.
Glad to know we won't have to have Nora hold the hammer again.
I haven't given it back yet.
I'll be wanting it back before we head that way, but I'm not going to be waving it ever again. Not unless it's the middle of a fight.
Yep.
We'll see. You have to earn hammer privileges.
Hammers are not tavern friendly.
I am never taking one of those into a tavern again. Every single time that thing has gone flying. I flail, I know this.
Do we need to put a thong on it or something?
Too much for one. That
No,
wouldn't
because
fit
there's
right.
still plenty of reach with a hammer attached to your.
Yeah, true. It's not exactly a hand hammer.
No.
Oh well, maybe a strap. I don't know. I'm just. I don't know.
There's still too much reach.
Just a thought.
And it makes me wonder why the shrine let me have that in the first place.
I don't know.
They didn't
I think
expect you to
I
be
might
waving
need
it
to add
around
a
at every tavern you
postscript to
walked
my letter to
into?
the shrine.
I mean, I'm good at actually swinging it when I have to, but every time I try to gesture, it goes flying.
Maybe
That's why
gesture
you
with
put
the
it-
hand not holding the hammer.
Or gesture smaller. Or put the hammer down first. There are a list of options here, Hazel.
Well, yeah, I intend to be using them. My point being is, why did they give me the hammer if they know I get all flaily? Is already flailing?
I think I might be adding a postscript to my letter to the shrine asking exactly that at this point.
You could ask Lyra. She might have an idea.
She might know. Lyra might have some thoughts too. I need to speak to her again anyway.
Hey, at least they didn't give you anything pointy.
Oh God.
Hey,
Let's not give her any ideas, Darvin!
Hazel just looks at Nora like, I'm, like, with this expression that's like, I'm better than that at least.
Says the woman who put
Put a
two-handed
hammer through-
warhammer through 5
What?
place settings
It's-
worth of
yep.
crockery
Which
and
is-
hit her own mother.
Which is exactly what I was about to go into.
That's why there's no words, just expressions like, come on, I'm better than that now.
It's
Because
only been
this one's
2
holding
weeks.
has been holding the hammer ever since. Points to Nora.
No, there wasn't any words, it's just a facial expression.
Yeah,
It's just
she can
being-
still respond to
I can.
facial.
Yeah.
Oh, doy, my brain is a little cooked.
Okay, is this
Just,
just
he
gonna...
he looks at Darvin, poke. Poke, 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 poke.
Do not make me separate you to opposite sides of the road.
Don't make us turn this road
I
around and go
will
home.
turn this adventuring party back around and go home. Don't push it.
Stop touching me.
Mom, Hazel's on my side!
Darwin's just completely playing this for laughs. Sorry, I'm completely playing this for laughs.
And I'm running with it.
Either or. Yeah, okay, so can we just assume that
Yeah.
this goes on for the rest of the
The rest of the
4 or
trip.
5 mile trip while Nora
Poke.
is...
Ow, quit it. Poke. Ow, quit it.
Well,
After a few
Nora
of those
is-
pokes, they're getting blasts of water in the face.
That was up the nose.
Dad, and I dig it.
That was right up the nose. Well, my sinuses are clear.
Great. Now I'm soggy.
And her bow is actually drooping.
Well, that's your own fault now, isn't it?
At least it's a nice sunny day.
You'll dry out by the time we get
They're
to go.
trying to shake it out of her head. There's probably water everywhere.
Hazel does have a significant amount of hair. The bow only partially tames it, and now the bow is water sodden at the edges and is trying to pull itself out of her hair.
No, you stay. She's gonna attempt to redo the bow.
At least,
Okay,
at least they get your
this
hands
is the
off
point
it.
at which I asked for a dexterity check because you're trying to tie a hair bow while walking.
Oh God!
This is going to be great.
Oh.
Yeah, no, it's not a complete botch, but Hazel is not managing, and she's Nora and Furseth will both see that she's come to within about an inch of tying both her hands together at the top of her head. She somehow managed to avoid this, probably by dint of having really tiny hands, but what she's got sort of still sliding out of her hair is this cat's cradle snarl of ribbon everywhere. It looks like vine blights all over again.
Come here. Stop and come here. This is why I braid my hair. Get her to stop. Fix it right there in the middle of the road. Get her tied up. Get it all fine. Get it back together. This is why I braid mine. And sure enough, I've got like a big braid down the back.
Mama gave me this bow. It's staying.
You can put a bow in a braid.
To be fair, the end of a braid is really, really thin, and now Nora has seen there is a good foot of ribbon. Probably more, because I'm really bad with the with measurements that aren't metric. I mean, there's a lot of ribbon. That's why it's just so large.
You could just
like
braid.
The bow is boom.
You could braid the.
It looks like an extra set of ears given when it's
braid
in
the ribbon
full.
through. I have plans to try to start braiding some greenery on my off time. You could braid the ribbon through. You can put the ribbon at the top and still braid it and have a little thing at the bottom. There are ways to do this and keep your hair under control, Hazel.
As she says this, the damp hair is drying in the sun, so on top of everything else, you just get this humidity.
Hey, I am familiar with the humidity. My hair is actually curly. I'm familiar with the humidity.
Yeah, so
there are a list of options. A list, Hazel.
Just so much hair.
As you're finishing this conversation, you finish your trek into Goldendale proper. Apparently, the tavern has seen a little bit of an altercation, given the 2 broken tables, 3 broken chairs sitting outside, and there's not actually a hole in the roof, but corner of it, not on the side of the kitchen, is smoldering. Well, blackened, really.
Dark
so
and
wait.
I got drunk, but we didn't do this, right? This wasn't us.
No, this wasn't us. And Hazel was with us the whole time, so.
Hey!
Good point.
Love you, Hazel.
Can I go in?
You can. I mean, Benson is currently he's got this sort of barrel which is full of bits of broken crockery, and some of it appears to have melted.
Benson, what happened?
Bards happened.
Oh dear.
They needled young Heseltine one time too many.
Ooh.
And that he had a bit of a tantrum, and now on top of all of this, there's a hole in the ceiling of the main tap room. Fortunately, it was by your other Dragonborn. It was in the room with your other Dragonborn friend, who just leaned through the hole and yelled at them all to shut up, and they did. But we had to bar Heseltine, not just from the tavern, by the way, from the town. He's not in the back.
I don't get the feeling that's a great loss.
No.
Wow, he actually managed to screw up worse than I do.
Well, to be fair, not all of this was him. This was people flinging bits and bobs trying to stop him. Apparently he was doing things to some of the ale. I think they counterspelled it, but then people got angry and there was yelling.
Ale.
And
ale is glorious.
Because it's a way to get to people.
You know,
all I know All I know is that most of the bards cleared out. The Dragonborn's all right. Heseltine's not allowed back in town ever. If we ever see him again, we're setting Jen on him.
Good plan.
I'll make sure to tell my parents about him too. I think I've got a lengthy postscript to add to this letter.
Oh, there's still some tables left if you want to take a seat.
Thanks. I think I'll sit down for a second and add a couple of postscripts.
Inside the walls are scorched. There's a couple of bloodstains, but there's nothing too huge.
Wow.
Benson, is everybody all right apart from Heseltine?
Well, some of the bards had a bit of a batter and bruise, but the just folks got out before anything.
Oh, good.
How about you and Eric? Are you both all right?
We're sensible. We hid behind the bar.
Fair enough. I wanted to make sure.
But thanks very much for your. And yeah, there is that hole in the ceiling. You might want to keep it down a little bit because I think he had a late one. We brought breakfast and he said he was going to try and grab a bit of a nap, but he was expecting company. If you wanted to do some other things, you might want to let the poor man sleep. He is basically the reason why this whole place hasn't been burned to the ground.
I am perfectly fine with letting him sleep. I just want to make sure I get these postscripts added to the letter to my parents before I forget what I need to ask them about.
Take a seat.
Thank you, sir. And I do. I'm going to sit down at a table. I've got the quill and the ink pot, and I'm adding a postscript. I'm going to ask my dad if he knows anything about the Beacon of Paler. I'm going to mention the chasm as well, if he knows anything else. And then I'm going to mention Heseltine, give a brief description, and say pretty much don't serve him ever. Ever.
Well, at least he's fairly easy to describe.
Exactly. And then, so I'm gonna wrap that up. Like I said, quick little postscripts, and then I'll be done.
Oh God, there's just so much.
We'll get it sorted. I mean, it's not as if we didn't have a good night.
Okay, wow. I'm sorry.
It's nothing against your profession, but you get drunken bards on their own recognizance, and
I know that's kind of. I mean, I only just got in, and I mean.
It wasn't even most of them. Most of it was just them trying to make their bloody tiefling friends stop. Not that I'm against tieflings either. I'm just against purple
one
tieflings.
You're against that tiefling.
Yeah, that's
and
fair.
I don't fault you.
Yeah, no one.
We should still be able to serve up some lunch in about an hour, if you don't mind. Fairly simple. We've put together sort of a mutton stew from the roast mutton last night.
Oh, that.
In about an hour, I will be back and begging for it.
Yes, because that was wonderful.
Oh, I'm glad you appreciated it. I was just a bit iffy about serving what's essentially leftovers.
Oh no! No. Leftovers of gold is still gold.
Look, it's clearly not used to the poetic, but he's well, we're just slightly disappointed because we did have designs on a sort of a chicken and field mushroom pie, but we
Hazel's drooling.
That's gonna have to wait for a couple of days because of course tomorrow is going to be our rest day roast and. Well, we'd better have this place up. Anyway, if you don't mind, we've got some.
If there is something, I mean, I'm not one for fixing stuff, but I mean, if there is some way I can be of assistance.
Can't think of anything, but then I don't know your skill set. But honestly, we'll sort something.
Okay. I wanted to at least extend the offer.
No, much appreciated. I just actually having some business to help pay for the repairs will be enough. Anyway,
sure.
Thank you very much. and he's clearly after. I mean, he was nice enough to give Nora a table to sit at, but he clearly wants to get back to assessing the damage.
Yep.
And
He's a little busy. Just a bit.
as he's now getting a front row seat to the aftermath of what he missed.
Okay, so I'm gonna finish my postscript. So I'm gonna cap the ink back up, and all right, I'm good. I'm ready to go head over to the shrine. Darvin, did you want to find the sketch artist
I was
first
gonna go.
see Jenna first? I mean,
I was gonna go see. I was gonna go see the artist real quick, give him the whys and wherefores, and then I guess I needed to go to the shrine.
Well, you wanted to meet the. I mean, first you needed your locket enchanted. You might want to go to the shrine first to find out if you can have the art done afterwards, because you don't know how long it's going to take.
Good point.
Also, you wanted to meet the fairy dragons.
Well, then let's go to the shrine first, and I can try to get this mailed off. And I, of course, add the postscript about the cookies, because I remember things. All right,
Julia's!
Look,
Yes,
all right, to the shrine with us.
I've not. Have I seen fairy dragons up close?
You had
There was
Froseth
the
had one.
one.
Froseth had the one.
Oh, that's
on it.
right.
Froseth had one latched onto him the
I
whole
forgot about that.
day.
He did literally have one land on his shoulder and nuzzle his face as a goodbye on his way out, remember?
Right, I'd forgotten that.
All right, so off we go to the shrine.
Yes. Going into the shrine, Darvin's the only one who hasn't seen it yet. His family had never had much truck with the gods, beyond. They're kind of whatever the equivalent of Christmas and Easter Christians are, as like they thank the gods for things, and they pray to the gods, but in that, really, really basic, we're not paying attention to the specifics way.
They were just sort of there.
But not a general belief, but not a faith.
Yeah, they were just sort of there.
Yeah, it's sort of a cross between agnosticism and something, but we've got our own lives to live.
Yeah.
It's a little bit different in the country, but I mean, one of the first things that Darvin will notice is there is a quality to the quiet in this place. For Froseth and Hazel and Nora, this is natural, but for him, it's just. Yeah, it's a comforting but heavy. It's like a good quilt.
Yeah.
And then there's all along the wall, there's these little stone discs that appear to have different symbols for each of the gods on them. The only one you can really identify is the son of Pelor.
Yeah, having seen it recently, points to the two people above me on the Skype.
Yes, and but yeah, no, it's interesting from an artistic standpoint, but he hasn't got the foggiest idea of what any of them mean. The first person they encounter is the one that Froseth, Hazel, and Nora will remember as Estan, the cleric of the god of death.
The grumpy one.
Which explains why there's no fairy dragons in sight, although you can hear peeping and hissing, and Froseth can just hear quiet, low-key swearing. Continuous, quiet, low-key swearing from the roof. And and it's clear that Estan is trying to do something, but every time he looks like he's getting into a working groove, a particularly loud hiss and click comes from the rafters, and he's like, "Will you stop?" Oh.
Hi. Where's Lyra?
Be nice. Manners. Try this again. Hello, Estan. We were looking for Lyra. Does she happen to be around?
She is in back. She's either resting, meditating, or adopting a new dragon. I don't know what she does. Just one moment. Gets up.
Thank you.
Froseth is gonna hear, oh, he's gonna do this. He's gonna do. Oh, he's not. Oh, yes, he is. And then you hear, wham, wham, wham. Paylor! Your other people want a word.
Hazel's sort of inflating in this angry-looking fashion.
Puts a hand on Hazel's shoulder just to kind of comfort and restrain if necessary.
Nora starts with her hands on her hips so that if she needs to just shoot a hand out, she's already like halfway there.
Thanks to Froseth, however, Hazel's already deflating.
Darvin's just looking confused. Just confused.
Estan on his way back says she'll be with you momentarily. What is your problem?
What?
Yes,
No,
you.
Nothing. Just confused.
This is a shrine. You worship the gods here. He picks up his quill and his book and he walks out. Does that clear it up for you? Slam.
Is he always that grumpy?
Yes.
The swearing continues.
He's permanently an asshat.
So
okay. I just wanted to make sure we didn't do anything that I wasn't there for.
Darvin, what's confusing?
Why he seemed so peeved.
No. You
always that peeved.
Well, that's yeah. I think that's a personal thing, not the god he worships. But I could be wrong.
Okay, I just didn't know there was a god of grumpy.
Death. There's a god for just about everything, but no, he's god that serves the god of death.
So he and she's no,
Darvin, multi-faith shrine.
Well, I figured, but at the same time, though, I figure oil and water.
Death isn't necessarily bad. It's the cycle of life. I mean,
at which point the door he was just hammering on opens and out comes Lyra. And this is the first time Darvin's now seen her, so he sees this little, very red-haired halfling with bandage across her eyes and little acid scars, and she's going, Nora, you have been a very good student, clearly.
Thank you. I did try. It's been a lifelong.
We have a new guest. You'd be the bard, wouldn't you?
Red.
Yes, Darvin. The answer is yes.
Oh, sorry. Yes, sorry. No, I've not seen hair of that red before. It's lovely.
Thank you.
Darvin, you complete. I'm not gonna say it.
It's fairly common where I come from originally. I'm much further east of here originally, but I've spent some time here and there. I imagine that Y has been passed along by now. Places. The fairy dragons now freed from presence of Estan come swooping down. One lands on top of Nora's head. One lands on top of Hazel's hair bow. One lands on top of Darvin's head.
Yep.
This would be this yellow one that leans down and looks upside down at him. Hello. Here's Froseth. He just hears beep, and a couple settle on Lyra's shoulders, and all the rest of the dozen or so. Froseth. You're just going, hello, hello.
Oh my God, adorable.
Froseth made many friends.
I see.
Yes.
That's so adorable. Oh my God, I think my teeth are gonna fall out. This is so adorable.
The one roll call, the one on the bard's head, beep, and at which point Froseth hears Sunshine reporting for duty. That would be Sunshine.
I love sunshine.
Happy peep of yay, and curls up on his head and apparently falls asleep.
Oh boy, I'm not moving.
No, I'm
I'm just going
gonna
to.
reach up and literally stroke into you along the sides of the one on my head.
I am
It's like
just.
Noop all over again.
I am just going to stand very, very still.
Lyra, we actually we found some things that you might be able to bless for us if you could, but we had a quick question about it too. Darvin over there found a locket and wants pictures for them. Can it be blessed after does it need to be blessed after, or can it be blessed before the pictures are put in it?
I
You think?
think it should be able to be blessed before. I mean, enchanted armor and weapons often get things like, blood and rust and stains on them, and that doesn't damage the enchantment any.
True. I didn't.
Oh no,
I-
I'm explaining the rationale. That's all. You're
And
not
then,
expected to know, and caution is a good thing.
and I also was wondering if I could borrow one of these darlings to deliver some messages back home, if I might, or a message, a letter back home, if I could.
I think that would be possible. Violet, and a Violet. Right. Let me tell you, this was far more amusing name when she was red.
I can imagine.
I'm trying. I'm trying to. Trying not to move. Trying not to move.
Where are you? Where are you sending it?
Okay, my family's place was northeast, right?
She can track by approximate sense as well. So if she gets a good sniff of you, she can track to family line. And Violet does, in fact, circle around Nora, lands on her shoulder, peeps what Froseth recognizes as a hello at the one perched on her head. It tickles the hollow between her ear and her jawbone as a sniff, 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 and then peeps sort of a, okay, I got it.
So I'm gonna pull the letter out of my belt pouch and kind of hold it up to Violet.
And the spices.
Oh yeah, the spices are yeah.
We're going to have to do something a little bit more secure than that, because sometimes there is weather after all. Hang on, just a moment. Holly, a green one. Again, funnier when she was red. Although
still appropriate.
Appropriate, yes. A little bit less so when she was orange. As this is going on, Holly flutters off Froseth's shoulder and comes back with what appears to be a little sort of fairy dragon-sized sort of document tube kind of thing.
Okay.
So she sort of rolls up the letter. Has a little bit of trouble, but eventually foomp it in and manages to fit the pouches of various spices. She has to take them out of the big bag and sort of slot them in. They just about fit. Okay, that's not too heavy. Nope. This is all happening in Draconic, so while Froseth understands that part of it.
All we're hearing is hisses and clicks and meeping.
Yeah, hisses and clicks and the occasional peep. And no, but Violet is going, nope, should be fine. Might need to take a bit of a rest break. Well, you know that you know the best grove for that in that area, don't you? Yep. All right. Have a safe trip, and I will see you when you get back. I should be able to get back faster. Yes, I know. Scritch. The other thing about fairy dragons is they don't just change color when they're older. I'm trying to think if it's better to explain or to have them demonstrate. The explanation is relatively simple. They have innate magic. So they have particular abilities, and for instance, Fluffy. Yes, I named him. He looks fluffy as far as I can tell, all right? Another violet fairy dragon rears up all proud and gives the order in Draconic, so Froseth's the only one who hears when she says polymorph. And all of a sudden, this fairy dragon, smallish, becomes smallish kitten. Boom.
That is so cool.
Oh! That's nifty!
And this is why noble asshats keep getting these and then forgetting about them.
Oh, there's plenty of things they can do. That's a kind of skill set that bards envy. Part of the reason I named him Fluffy was because this is his default polymorph shape, petting the kitten.
That is
But
adorable.
Things like dancing lights, mage hand,
Mhm.
minor illusion,
Mhm.
major image, hallucinatory terrain when they get older.
Ooh.
Doesn't do anything to me,
Hey.
obviously, but they're well. I just wanted to reassure you. It takes Fluffy. It's still petting. I mostly explain this to reassure you that your message will get there. My darlings can take care of themselves.
I had no doubt, and thank you for letting me use Violet to send that off. I appreciate
That's
it.
quite all right. She likes getting out now and again.
And there will, in my understanding, there will be cookies at the in the offing.
Miranda told me to make sure I told my parents to tip her in cookies.
Yes, they do. They do like cookies. I think that's more or less my fault, but there are worse things.
There are
Lyra
certainly
makes
worse
best
things.
cookies.
I should actually send you back to Hearth Home with some. I'm sure the little ones would appreciate it. And I should probably give those to you before I start blessing things, because we remember what happened the last time.
Yeah.
And she pads off.
And then when she comes back, I've got.
Yeah, when she comes back with a good size bag of cookies. Who wants to hold these?
I'll take them.
I made a particularly interesting purchase from one of the market stall holders, something I haven't had in a good long time, not since last time I was in the Southern Lands. Those ones are chocolate chip.
Ooh.
Blink, blink.
Please don't eat them all before you get there.
I won't touch a single one until we get there.
Neither am I.
Until you get there, you should at least have one. I mean, it's literally like, big head-sized sack of cookies.
Ooh.
All right. Well, I think we can each have one without fear of spoiling lunch. So I'm gonna kind of, hand one out to everybody, then close the bag up and.
Lyra does in fact make best cookies. These are essentially a blend of chocolate chip cookies and ginger snaps.
Ooh.
Hazel makes a distinctly interesting noise in response to biting into one.
Oh God.
Yeah, it's one of those ones that I imagine that Nora and Darvin at least recognize as being completely indecent.
Yup.
You. Lyra, I actually wanted to ask you about something I heard about in the tavern last night, if I could, before we start doing the blessing thing, because
All right.
I do recall what happened during the blessing. Do you know anything about the chasm?
I do. I've never been there, but my predecessor was.
What all can you tell me? Because I don't know much. I've essentially been told about a very interesting sword that was last heard
Yes,
of.
Paylor's
there.
Beacon.
Yes.
I know. The reason that I know is essentially the same reason that I joined Twilly and Miranda's little band in the first place. The cleric that was healing for them had been tasked with taking that sword someplace safe. Obviously, they couldn't be short a cleric, so I joined them. Lost my eyes within the first week. That was entertaining. If you didn't notice the acid spit in the eyes, rather than ask Paylor to completely restore me, I simply asked to still be able to help one way or another. The acid was a lesson learned, and I didn't want that taken away, but I didn't want them to suffer for my overconfidence.
I can understand that.
So I lost my eyes, but I've got my other senses and a little bit extra. Not much, but enough. In any case, my predecessor, a bargain was made because the last wielder any of us know was 40 years ago. There was something on the field of battle in the Southern Lands, something beyond what any of us really understood, and that particular paladin was trying to keep it as far away from us grunts on the ground, I believe was how it was put, as possible. As far as I can tell, it was bested for now. She was always a little the cleric that I served under was always a little ominous and pessimistic. So all we know for sure is that the immediate threat ended. The paladin died in the process, and the sword could not be wielded by any but a female paladin of Paylor. Our cleric, she asked me what is it. They weren't going to send me. I was too young. So instead, she asked me if I knew of any place that it could be taken. I suggested someplace I suggested the chasm. When I was younger than Hazel, I was up at that temple. It's the best in 3 countries, that one. And I went on a couple of the meditative retreats that only go into the first room of the chasm, which is, and it's essentially a shrine for those most dedicated to Paylor, most beloved of, go to reconsecrate, much in the same way as you took the Oath of the Ancients. Beyond that was some place we were only supposed to go if we had great need. They explained that it was traps for the unworthy, tests for the worthy. Very big on worth beyond that point. But I was given to understand that if there was something that we needed to keep safe, there would be where to do it.
I think I might actually have need of Paylor's beacon as much as I wish I didn't. I think I do.
Well,
And
as I understand from the main reason you caught me sleeping so very late was there was a bit of an altercation at the tavern, and I was up. I understand that the Dragonborn Bard, Bronze, Lightning. Anyway, he was saying something about having a map he was going to have copied for you, as well as some notes.
yes.
If I think I can manage with enough help, and there's the sense that if she had eyes, she'd be looking up and she does instinctively reach for her own medallion of Palor. I think if this is a worthy cause, and I believe that it is, I can have enough guidance to mark it on the map for you.
Well, I think that's the first true test. If Pelor is able to help, then we'll know we're on the right path.
Well, Palor won't get you through all the traps that easily, or the
No.
tests.
No, but I figure it's at least a good first one.
One thing that I feel prompted to remind you is that while only one, and a very specific one, may wield her, a paladin, like everyone else, wields many weapons and has many suits of armor. Some she carries all at once, and some of them have minds of their own. If again, there's the sense if she had eyes, she'd be cutting them to Darvin, Furseth, and Hazel.
I have not forgotten that, but the reminder is always appreciated.
It was actually more a reminder that you don't have to leave them at the door.
I was actually, the sword being all, you can only be wielded, and I get that. I was wondering, you said traps and for the unworthy, and I wouldn't presume to be. So I was wondering if we needed to wait outside or what the protocol was.
She stepped over to you. Actually stands on tiptoes for longer than you would expect someone to be able to look you in the face. Puts a hand on your cheek and says, "Forgiveness is a long process, even longer when it's yourself. You'll get over this." Pats your cheek a little and steps down.
Blink, blink, blink. Just silence.
Sunshine on your head just sort of leans neck down.
Now, can I ask what's probably going to be a really stupid question?
There are no stupid questions.
That's usually my job.
Points in
why did the shrine that I finished training at let me have a hammer at all?
Because they thought that if you had something that large to weigh you down, you would not flail so much.
It hasn't worked.
I am aware of this. I did argue against it, but unfortunately they could not think of a better weapon that did not involve sharp edges, occasionally poison, or even more reach in the form of a quarterstaff.
Or something with spikes.
Can you imagine her with a crossbow?
Don't help!
I have a crossbow.
You what?
Wow.
Lyra just sort of holds up her hands in the universal, "I'm staying out of this."
Note to self, never stand in front of Hazel. Or beside Hazel. Or within Hammer's range of Hazel.
Considering I'm usually standing in front of all of you, I watch my back.
I don't use it for a reason.
Okay, quick question. Any of you speak Sylvan?
Mm-mm.
I speak nothing.
In fact, probably none of you would recognize Sylvan.
Speak common.
Yep, same.
Lyra says something that does not sound like Draconic at all. It's certainly not common. It's pretty, mind you, but and Hazel gets a feeling like it's almost familiar, like one of the languages she knows has a root in it somewhere. But as she does that, the dragons sort of look at her, tilt their heads, and with Sunshine giving a little apologetic butt to Darvin, the few that have not clustered around Froseth, basically sort of attached to shoulders, upper arms, head, wind wings as far around him as it can reach, and it's basically being hugged by nearly a dozen tiny fairy dragons.
That was an interesting noise.
And then they just sort of go, yeah, we're glad to have met you, and give him little face butts as they take off for various spots in the rafters. Although Flitty still sticks around on your shoulder and sort of goes, are there going to be more pocket ventures? And Sunshine lands on top of Darwin going, pocket ventures, pocket ventures, pocket ventures, pocket ventures. Not that Darwin can understand, but he's actually literally hopping up and down on top of Darwin's head. And in Draconic, Lyra is like, if they're happy to have you, yes, you can go.
Huh?
They'd like to know if they can accompany you on your pocket ventures today.
Oh my! Yeah, I would be honored.
She translates, and Sunshine is just bounce in this tiny little circle. Flitty is going, thank you.
All right. Well, Darwin and Froseth, why don't you let Lyra have your necklaces that she's going to bless for us?
Oh yeah. There you go.
And Lyra takes hold of it and looks at the locket she holds for a moment.
Froseth holds his out, which he hasn't stopped gripping since he held it, and actually has to peel his fingers off of it to let it go because he's been holding it tightly.
I'm gonna reach over and kind of touch his arm again.
As he's doing that, Lyra actually reaches up, and you'd swear she had been able to see it, and she still got Darwin's locket hanging by the chain from her fingers, but she clasped both hands around Froseth's as he's slowly trying to peel, and is like, you don't have to yet. Keeps one hand wrapped around his, reaches into belt pouch, drips that same incredibly pure water and the sprinkles of diamond dust. And she's clearly trying to do them both at the same time. And again, she succeeds, and again, she ends up on the floor. So all Darwin sees is both of them at the same time start to glow, and then...
Oh dear.
Oh, no, it's fine. It's fine. It's what they say.
Okay.
You know the power that you wield?
Mm-hmm.
Consider the power of a god channeling through you.
I can extrapolate. Okay.
That was what I was asking for. I am fine.
Do you want us to get you some tea before we step back out?
No, that's fine. The kettle's already on, and I think Daisy might be. Daisy is incidentally orange.
I like it.
She'll grow into her name one day, and then she'll grow right out of it again.
Well, thank you, Lyra, for everything today.
That's all right.
I
still have. There's still one more, isn't there?
Yes, ma'am.
At least that one will be a little easier.
Yeah, in theory.
I just thought
Possibly.
I probably shouldn't make you wait between times. It's been relatively quiet. I just underestimated after healing various bards of various injuries, though they had the sense not to bring the tiefling bard to me again.
I have a feeling
he made advances.
I don't know if I should be at this point. I don't know if I should be Never
Wish I could say I was
mind.
surprised.
He didn't actually believe me when I diagnosed him. Yes, I know you know. I know the whole town knows. But he didn't believe me. He thought I was trying to put him off. And then I explained the symptomology, that some of these things were not, and I'm not going into details, but suffice to say he finally believed me and was a little cross when I refused to use divine healing on anyway.
Yeah, we understand.
It's like his don't deserve that kind of treatment.
No. You make that many poor choices that often, and you should suffer the consequences, but...
In any case, do come back later on when you
We shall.
when you have the first.
We will, thank you.
When we're, what do we do when we're done with Pocket Ventures?
They'll come home.
Oh, okay. Just want to make sure.
They're capable of language. They're clever. And at this point you get Sunshine sort of going. What did he say? I know he was pointing at me, and does he think we don't know our way home? And Liddy's going, probably, but he's just a human. He doesn't understand. They're
stupid and cute. Be nice. They're stupid and cute.
Yeah, pretty much. That's what you're getting from Flitty. Well, no, she's and little claws actually pointing at Nora. She's smart and cute. They're stupid and cute. Pointing at And you get Sunshine at first with years go looking at Darvin, looking over at Lyra and going, "Can I keep him? I'll feed him every day."
And Froseth actually has to stifle a laugh at that.
Lyra's just face palming it in. She says, "We don't have room for a pet, Sunshine. We need to keep the space for more family. He has a home with the Hearthhearts." Okay.
Well, I think we should leave Lyra to recover from this, and thank you again, Lyra, and take care of our errands, and then grab some lunch.
Okay. We'll see you again soon. Have an Indraconic. Have fun, you two. Pocket Ventures with the silly singy man.
Okay, so do we want to do the blacksmith first, or get Darvin's pictures? Are we splitting up? What are we doing?
Well, you're probably going to be a minute at the blacksmith, so I'll just go on over to the artist and just give him the description and meet you at the blacksmith.
Do you have money to pay for it?
Yes, he does.
Yes, I do.
Okay. I was like, I didn't know if you remembered to bring it.
And to be fair, drunk last night.
Yeah, there's that. Yeah. Okay, so I guess meet us back in blacksmith when you're done talking.
Yeah, this probably won't take long.
All right, so I'm gonna boogie on over to the blacksmith to Jenna.
He's still trying to figure out who to go with.
Froseth will be going to the blacksmith as well, to Jenna.
Okay. While people are deciding, when you get to the blacksmith, there's noise. There's an awful lot of bang 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 bang. It's sort of a click click and then whoosh. Right, had that up a little too high.
Hey, Jenna.
Hazel follows blacksmith crew.
Piers has the back row. There is soot and general soot and sweat, and just she's clearly been working like an absolute demon. Not quite yet, but we're getting there.
I didn't want to rush you. I just happened to be back in and thought I'd see. And I saw the sword you sold to Darvin. It's amazing.
He was going to do weird things to it.
One day you will find a weapon you appreciate, and then you will understand.
Unintentionally quoting Twilly and Miranda. Jenna is still just leaning out the door, going, "Well, yeah. I mean, I've had a few ideas about various things you could do to metal with metal since then, and looking at a bit of Umber Hulk reinforcement. Cannot make Displace a Beast work with metal, but I'm trying something else."
I'd have at it. I trust you, and I'm excited.
Displacer beast?
You never heard of Displace a Beast?
No, I'm just wondering how and why.
Because then you'd be harder to hit. But you could do it with leather.
And when I want them to hit me instead of you, that would have been good.
Yeah.
I mean,
I
I
see
can let
exactly
them
what
hit
you
you
mean now.
I can let them hit you if you really want the experience.
I'm sorry, were you asking for something, or did you just want an audience?
I think Froseth has something he was wanting to ask you about.
Hello,
Yes.
lad.
Hello. I'm looking for something might be a bit out of the ordinary, but let's start with the assumption you know what it is, and if not, we can go on from that.
Smart lad, very smart lad. Keep in mind, I don't think I've explained or fully described Jenna. Jenna, yeah, she's human. Yeah, she's missing the one arm, and it's been replaced with a fully functional metallic substitute. She is also maybe late 50s, early 60s.
Okay.
I mean, she's weathered like good leather, basically.
Got it.
Short hair, mostly gray, but she's still pretty fit for, obviously consider her profession. But yeah, when she says she's been at this a long time, this is what she means. And she'd have to have been a certain age to do any kind of armor and weapons work for the diminutives. So you're looking at a veteran significantly here.
All right. So, now I lost my train of thought.
You're gonna act like she knows what you're talking about. If not, then you're gonna describe things.
Yeah. I'm looking for a comma.
Anything in particular you want it to do?
Well, fighting basically. Like everything I've got is blunt. I want something sharp that I.
She gives Nora a look. You saw the sword?
I did.
Tell him what I meant by that question.
Do you want magics?
What sort of enchantments and whatnot do you need?
I wasn't even looking for enchantments. Hadn't considered that.
Also, do you want a paired set, or are you happy to try just the one?
Let's go with a pair.
Right.
If that's available anyway.
Well, I'm gonna see what I've got, but what I want to. You know what? I'm just gonna make the call for you. Stay there.
Sounds good.
Trust a good smith. Something I learned very early. Trust a good smith.
She goes into the back room and shuts the door. There's a certain amount of noise, very much sort of clang, 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 things clattering, and you can have whatever conversation you'd like to have while I try to figure out exactly what's going to happen next.
I think it's the same box.
No. The chest that everything came out of.
The great sword, the mace she stuck in the wall.
And Froseth wasn't wasn't there for that one. Hey, wait a minute. Hazel wasn't there for that one. Neither
That's an
was
out of
Nora.
character. Yeah, no, I know out of character what he's talking about, but I figured that was an out of character aside anyway.
No, that was in his in-character voice.
Yeah.
Oh, then.
Whoops.
Yeah, you don't know about that. Take it back.
Already done.
Yeah, see, of course, the main thing you got to wonder is what the hell kind of storage system is she using in there?
Better question. Is it going to be anything like the sword? Because if it's anything like that sword, there's going to be glowy and people are going to want to do things to it.
One day you'll understand and just gently pat Hazel's cheek. So when did you decide you wanted a sharp weapon?
It's been a thought for basically since leaving the Star Coast. I like with what I've got, the staff works well enough, but it's not going to be the proper tool for everything.
Fair point.
I'm assuming the mind reading.
My bruise still has a bruise. I know it works well enough. We still need to have a discussion about the way you spar.
Eventually, there is clatter, clank, thud. Aha!
I think she found something.
Knew I had these little buggers in here somewhere. Leans out the door. How'd you feel about fire damage? How'd you feel about ice damage?
Sounds wonderful.
Good, because you got both. She doesn't have a presentation case. What she has is, again, the craftsmanship on these things alone is insane. They are mismatched but complementary. One is a sort of a reddish mahogany sort of a wood with a sort of a silver embossing on it that looks kind of like flames. And there is a very slight ripple of reddish light along the blade, which is actually quite dark as far as metal goes. The other one is a very pale wood. Anyone with nature might think maybe silver birch. It's similar filigree, but looking more like a frost pattern, but in a sort of a reddish gold. Its blade is very pale metal. It almost looks like silver, but it's clearly too solid for that. And it's like you can almost see it steaming, like when you have ice in a warm place.
Ooh.
It's not quite, but you can, the appearance of the blade looks like that. I haven't really got anything for storage for them for the moment, but and they haven't got names. I never got fancy, but no, not with the naming thing anyway. But they're both keen as anything, and one gives a bit hit of ice, which I suppose you're probably familiar with from what little I know. One gives a hit of fire. Sets them down on the counter because she's obviously not going to hand them to him.
Yeah. So I'll
As I told your friend, you might wanna handle him. Now it's actually pretty clear when he first picks them up that these were made for a much smaller person. But again, as with Darvin's sword, as he holds them, the balance shifts on them.
Wow.
Those look awesome.
Those are very nice indeed.
Yes. They are incredible.
They're glowing, and one of them looks like the, well, stuff he yells a lot.
Fusro, don't even get me started, man. Well, you're a little less, all over the place than your friend was.
First, that's a little more understated than Darvin.
He's probably
Yeah,
the
I
calmest
could-
person here next to Nora.
I could tell that when he was looking like a landed fish.
What do you think, Frosa?
They are amazing, and I would love to have them. How much?
That would be 10 gold each, 20 the pair. They're old. Stop that look, woman.
Yeah, and the sword you sold Darvin was old too.
Yeah, and what, you think
Being old doesn't diminish the quality of the work.
No, but they're sitting in a cupboard right now.
So do we have party funds here for paying her? Because I personally don't actually have that much gold on me.
I went back to the room, so I didn't say that I grabbed it, but I could have grabbed it. I mean,
Yeah, well, to be fair, because you knew that artists were going to be involved and you wanted to tip Jenna anyway, you would have picked up the party.
I grabbed it.
Yeah.
We can definitely cover this from the
Yeah.
party funds. I think this is considered a necessary expenditure for the benefit of the group.
Yeah.
So, all right. So I'm
Awesome,
gonna pull out
Jenna. Awesome Jenna made stuff is always awesome and always worth it.
This is the first time you've seen me do anything but a plowshare, ever.
Still always worth it.
So how much do I want to give her? Let's see. So she did 15 for that sword she made for Darvin and 20 for the pair of these. So that's 35 total that she's charged us for. Now, granted, 15 was paid. But how much more on top of that do we want to tip? Because I'm...
Well, you guys can have the conversation in character because she's clearly not overly fussed about this part and has actually gone back to work on the armor. For her, apparently, just having the shit to do is enough.
How much more do we want to tip her over what she's charging? Because I can't... I feel like we're robbing her by doing the 15 and the 20. They're worth more than that. You know they are. I know they are.
I am fully aware they are, though I am not familiar enough with stuff to know how much more.
What was that, Darvin? What 5 gold?
Darvin's not here.
Yeah, Darvin's not here.
But Ethan was trying to make a...
He was
10.
going.
Oh,
Was it
yeah.
10? Yeah, that's what I was thinking was do
Still
10.
melted. Sorry about that.
I was honestly thinking like 10 on top of, or maybe 10 for each piece of dish. I mean, I'm like, I don't even... Okay, well, let's give her at least...
15, that way she gets an even 50 for everything.
I say yes to that.
I could settle with that, yeah, and then make sure I tip her when she finishes my armor too. So
So one thing Nora has forgotten is that when she first brought the armor in to be fixed, the first words out of her mouth were, "Your money's no good here."
Oh yeah, no, I know. Doesn't mean I can't leave something on the counter anyway.
That's true enough. You're still hearing. There's another tick tick tick. That's better.
All right.
Oh my God, I love
so
Jenna.
let's give her 35 then for this for right now, and then I'm gonna leave her some when I pick up my armor tomorrow or the day after, whenever she's done with it.
Yes, at this point, it doesn't sound like a great time to interrupt her because there's this sound of metal bending.
So should we just leave the money on the counter then? I mean, that's kind of what I'm thinking.
Well,
Yes.
she clearly doesn't have customers at the minute.
Okay. So I'm going to pull out the 35, leave it on the counter, and I'm going to yell back to her, hey, Jenna, we left the money on the counter.
Thank you. Come back tomorrow. Should be done with this by then.
Can do. And out we go.
Out we go, and
Hazel exits
I
with this
will
expression of, there
hide
was
those
stuff making
comma in my
bending noises.
Yes. Darvin, meanwhile, has found Barreras, who's this frail, wizened, sort of amber-skinned half-elf who can't be. And given the lifespan of elves, this guy may have actually seen his 100th birthday. And he looks over at you and he goes, "Ah, I remember that face. The eyes were a challenge. But
You're muted.
I rose to it." Ethan, you're muted.
Sorry.
You doofus.
Thank you, and yes, you did, very much so. Which is actually why I'm here. I have need of 2 small portraits to fit into, pulls out locket, this.
I was kind of imagining the locket bigger than that. Most lockets do tend
Oh, they do?
more.
Okay, like that then?
Yeah, and that usually a good locket, particularly an old locket,
Okay.
because of how difficult it is to make smaller hinges.
Ah, I hadn't seen an older one in myself in forever, so I didn't realize. So yeah, it's about like that then.
Yeah, they're usually a good couple of inches.
Like a
Yeah.
cameo.
Yes.
Okay.
Reaches out. His hands are bony, and the it looks like the joints are swollen, and there's ink and chalk of various colors almost up to his wrist. Let me have a look. He's holding out his hand for the locket.
Oh, well, yeah, I'll hand it to him.
He looks at it, squints, pops it open, peers inside, breathes in it. For, let me guess, the boy and the pretty blonde.
Ethan's face is amazing. I'm sorry.
You're turning colors again.
I have rosacea. It happens.
The boy, yes. The other is going to be actually my mother. Just recently passed.
Ah,
So
gonna need a description then.
of course.
Or a corpse, but you don't look that creepy.
Thank you.
I've met some strange people in my day.
Woo!
That's fair. I've seen some strange portraits in my time in my life, so I can understand.
I may have painted a few of those. Now, give me a description, and we'll see.
Well, you know Evan. He was the red-haired.
Yes, I know what I meant. The other one.
I was getting to that. I was leading off, and then I'll give him the description of. Did we say Elspeth was her name?
Yes, Esbeth.
Esbeth, that's what it was. I knew it was close to that. And I'll give him the description of how she normally was.
He does ask one question when you've done the physical description. What made her happiest? Don't think, just say it.
Family.
I can work with that. Give me an half hour, and we'll have a thing for you.
Done. What do I owe you?
Precision work and family associations. And you were talking with that bronzy fella, weren't you? With the teeth.
Mm-hmm.
He peers into a money pouch. Nope, you're covered. And he pulls a piece of paper, wraps an arm around it, and pulls out this. And he actually doesn't have brushes. He just dips the nail of his pinky finger and starts apparently sketching.
Okay.
Can't talk now. Drawing. And actually flicks a hand, and a little bit of black ink sort of splatters actually up the bridge of your nose a little bit because it's an upward sort of flick. Goes back to work.
Okay. I'll come back in.
Working!
Leaves.
Yeah, sunshine is peeping at him in apparently more and more urgently, but of course since it's draconic, he doesn't understand it. So by the time you guys gather together again, Froseth is hearing, "No, you don't talk to the drawing man when he is drawing! Why aren't you listening to me?
I told you. I told
you so, and now you have the
And I'm like trying to get off the.
He talked to the drawing man while the drawing man was drawing, and he had to tell him twice.
Darwin, you
I know. I'm trying to.
You can almost see despair writ on that little fairy dragon face.
I was just trying to.
In Draconic,
tonight.
he's a bit slow. He'll figure it out.
But he's cute, and I keep him if I was allowed. But I guess he needs you more. It's like he thinks somehow Darwin will understand. It's okay, Mr. Singy Man. They'll take good care of you.
Pet. I have no idea what you're saying, but it's adorable.
And his head is comfy. It curls up a little ball on top of his head like this weird-ass yellow beret. Froseth is sort of, trying to stifle laughter at this point?
Pretty much.
And these are probably about the third or fourth time today that after a conversation with the fairy dragons, you just had this dragonborn sort of into his snout.
So yeah, and now I'm assuming my conversation with the artist was that while they were in with the blacksmith.
Yeah.
So then,
Just
So
just
how
trying to figure out timing.
did you with the what happened?
He just suddenly I asked him how much, and he made mention of the bronze dragon, and then suddenly said, after looking in his pouch, that I was covered. And when I started,
He did say it depends on who gets to him first. Who was going to pay for copies and things.
Yeah, Torin paid while we were all sleeping off or drunk.
But this wasn't to do with.
Same guy.
Yeah, I know,
Same
I know. But my stuff had nothing to do with.
He must have paid him that much extra, kind of like when he covered all of our drinks apart from like 2 at the bar. and your dinner.
Wow.
Torin's
okay.
a very generous tipper, apparently.
Wow.
Very generous.
Okay. Well, yeah. Anyway, when I was confused and was attempting to speak, he sort of and ink and
He was talking while the drawing man was drawing. You don't do that.
Process
what?
saying.
What?
They don't talk while the artist is drawing, basically.
He was drawing. Oh, Darvin, there is so much you need to learn.
Well, I mean, I get that, but at the same time, I was trying to make certain that, everything was covered.
He said so. And
Right.
of
And then when I started to say I'm leaving, I got yelled at again.
You trust the word of the craftsman.
I did. I did, and you yelled at me. The 15, you yelled at me.
There's a difference between paying them fairly and nope. There's a difference between paying them fairly and interrupting their work.
You interrupted me, or you yelled at me. You yelled at me.
You actually get Flitty going. Why is nobody asking the singing man how he would feel if somebody started trying to talk to him while he was singing?
Singing.
Hazel's just is about to try to stick her finger in Darvin's ear to make him stop.
Hi, Taylor.
Flitty looking at Process. How would he feel if somebody tried to talk to him while he was singing?
Probably about the same as the drawing man.
Then why don't you tell him that he might actually understand?
I was hoping he would come to the realization, but let's see. So then, Flitty wants to know how you would feel if someone started talking to you while you were trying to compose or singing or.
No, I get it. I get it. It was just.
And where I yelled at you was about if somebody had tipped you poorly.
I was trying to just make sure everything was covered, and I was confused as to why Torin covered something that had absolutely nothing to do with our efforts in getting everything squared away.
But it does. That locket is something you're going to be wearing and will be keeping you safe. It does.
He probably just eyeballed the whole how much they're covered for anything we're covered for whatever we want to do within the next 2 days or whatever.
Or you could just ask him because it's getting into lunchtime.
I would say let's all go have lunch and maybe we can actually talk to Torin.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I feel like you felt like like Jenna was being taken advantage of. I'm kind of feeling like Torin is.
I'm not disagreeing.
You might also keep in mind that when I described him the very first, who seems to have gone by the wayside, he is dressed very well.
Very.
He's been doing this for a long time, and the impression that I've been trying to give, and
he's got the money to throw around,
clearly failing, is that he's very good at what he does.
Well, I think we're all getting that, but there's also, when you look at how we as characters develop and how we react in character, this still makes sense to me, even though out of character I'm going, he's got it, it's fine.
But the other thing Froseth might come to faster than the rest of you is he's dragonborn in a human's world, mostly. It's probably easier to throw money around and go away than haggle and cause problems.
Yeah.
It's just good that he's talented enough. And these are all theories. In any case, head back to the Golden Bough, which is starting to tidy up a little bit. The blood's been scrubbed off the walls anyway.
Oh, and as we walk in, I'm going to kind of, pull Darvin aside. I'm proud of you for the leftovers comment. You're learning.
Hey, the mud was actually really, really good. And I meant what I said. Leftover gold is still gold.
The air does smell like really nice, savory lamb stew and baked herb bread. fresh baked herb bread rolls.
Excited.
Hazel makes a noise reminiscent of the one she made when the cookie happened.
What? Why? With the shh. Hello,
At which
Benson.
point you got Benson going, we're not that kind of tavern.
Hello, Benson.
Hello, you lot.
Are we early for lunch or are we right on time?
No, I think everything's about set. We're probably not going to have that much business in today. Most people sleeping it off or taking a well-deserved rest.
Well, I think there's going to be first off, are you going to want some of this stew? I hear the mutton was amazing.
Yes.
All right, so then 4, please.
Right, and to drink.
You have any of your ale left, or is it still all questionable?
No, he was going for the fancy ale stuff first. Ours apparently wasn't worth sullying.
Well, I completely disagree. Might I have one of yours?
Of course.
Same, please. That sounds wonderful.
Looks at the rest of you.
Small mug.
Good girl. Good girl.
I'll have the same as Nora.
And he potters off to get plates together, and as that's going on, you hear footsteps. Well, clack, 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 as well as the thud, thud, thud on the stairs. And you turn to look, and there's Torin. Looks at Furseth. And he does something that he probably doesn't understand, that nobody, not even Furseth, will understand the weight of. But the look of him suggests that it is something weighty all the same. Lifts his arms, left hand makes a fist into the palm of his right hand, which he then cups with the fingers of his right, and gives a very deep, very respectful bow.
Okay.
Am I to assume that he's just sort of blinking at this guy?
Yeah, pretty much.
At which point he relents a little to explain it's a customary first greeting between the clans of various colors. I'm sorry. I haven't been able to do it in a very long time.
Okay. So after hearing that, he'll do his best to mimic the movement.
Roll me perception.
Just Furseth or everybody?
No, just Furseth.
Okay.
It's to determine how well he noticed it. It's not too dissimilar to the main reason it really threw Furseth is because the closest equivalent he had was a similar sort of bow that you made to the very venerable ones, except in that case it was palm to palm and down.
Oh, right, yeah.
Well, have you all ordered lunch?
We have. Would you like to join us?
I was about to suggest, I think we probably have a great deal to discuss. But it is good to finally meet you. Of course, now we have a bit of a problem. Because we don't have a Nora next week. And I need to try to wrap... Yeah, I know, but sorry. We don't have a Nora for the next 2 sessions. I need to wrap this in a way that will... I think I know. Because this ran a little bit longer than I expected. I think, however, that, well, I understand that all of you need to be involved. We're already missing one. And I think Milady Paladin probably has some other things she should be doing. Hold up a claw. he's been wearing this satchel. It's not a bag of holding. It's just a regular satchel. It hasn't got the right kind of designs on it. He pulls out. It's a fairly new bit of paper. It's clearly a sort of a copy. I've given a general indication of where the chasm is on this map. I've got another copy I can show the others for the rest of the points.
Thank you.
But your cleric, sometimes the blind see more than we think. Speak to her. If you need some time to research, cleanse, I'm sorry, I'm not very religious in that way. We have a different way of handling things. But I think, and it looks between. First he looks to Hazel, then to Darvin. Look at Furseth. Well, we can hope that the young tiefling, young Clarity, will join us. Either way, we'll have someone who can provide you with the rest of the information, and there are notes. At the moment, though, it does seem like preparing yourself as much as you can without invalidating whatever. And you can see him trying not to say nonsense, but he's not in that way religious. Whatever tests of worth are involved.
Thank you. I'll finish my lunch and head over. Thank you for providing this. I can't tell you how much I appreciate it.
He looks rather pointedly at the symbol of Paler around her neck. You can do what I can't. I want to be part of the story somehow. And besides, I've caused you all, and at this point he's looking at Furseth, I think I've caused you all enough heartache that I really should be making up for it.
It's not your fault. None of it is.
No, but just because it's not my fault doesn't mean I'm not aware that I said things that have caused pain. I'm allowed to be... I don't blame myself, but I'm still allowed to be regretful.
I know that feeling as well.
There's a difference between self-blame and regret. Unfortunately, sorry is what we use in both cases. Ridiculous language, Common. At which point you get the sunshine peeping to Flitty. Did he just say that Common's stupid? Yes. Finally, someone else said it, and you've got Tora just crying desperately not to laugh.
So I'm gonna make sure that I'm gonna leave the bag with the party funds and stuff, and I'm gonna slide it across the table to Rosa. Could you make sure, please, that lunch gets paid for? And because I think as soon as I eat, I'm gonna go back to the shrine. And Darvin, were you? Because I thought I heard you try to say something. I'm not sure.
Oh, just speaking as a bard, I can definitely say that Torin's going to be part of the story.
Any good bard would want to be, if not the one telling it.
So. I understand that someone is very happy about various of their creations going out into the world. If she can be, so can I.
Can't fault you for that. Won't fault you for that.
Yeah.
Right. I will assume that some basic conversation happens over the next half hour or so while lunch is had. Just Torin, somewhere in the middle of lunch, actually brings out his harp, which isn't looking too the worse for wear, and sings this absolutely hysterical little number of the Battle of the Golden Bough. He's made the entire. He's turned the entire pub brawl into a ballad,
Oh
and
my
it's
God!
just this.
Nice.
I mean, you can in his voice you can hear, you can practically see Heseltine's facial expressions as he throws this complete tantrum, and somebody tried to hold person on him, and it
Nice.
failed. Unlike with Darwin's case, it failed, and he mimics Heseltine almost perfectly with the "What did you just try to do to me?" And it throws a fireball, and he's going, "So what? You decided to just show us what it feels like when you piss." And from that point on, it just went absolutely buckshit insane. And he still managed to capture the whole thing.
And I'm just like, how the hell did you manage to come up with a rhyme for Hazeltine?
You just did it.
It's not technically a rhyme.
Close enough.
The best rhymes are the ones you don't see coming.
Close enough to function.
And that's the thing. You see the straight. The straight on rhymes, everyone knows. Sometimes you want to surprise them a little bit. Something that's close enough, or if you alter where the word ends in the line, you can make a word that shouldn't rhyme with it at all.
That's fair. That's fair.
Oh, and he actually spends the last bits of lunch teaching Darvin a few new tricks.
Yeah,
in terms of the words.
Yeah.
And also a couple of tips and hints about in which bars you want to how to read a barman, basically, how to when to be fawning, when to be family friendly, when to be raise a hand, just give me a pint of, when to be just bargy, basically, just when you really need to belly up to the bar, slam a fist down on the table. He actually demonstrates the best, and Nora has actually seen people do this in the wrong kind of tavern, but she's also heard her mother say, I used to do that in dockside taverns. It worked then. This is just stupid. And but he actually demonstrates the best way is slamming a fist on the bar and going, I need me a pint before I tear this joint apart.
Yeah, and I could I'll lean over and show Darvin where to hit with a human hand so it doesn't hurt quite as much. Show exactly the way to put your fist down properly. Yeah.
Sorry about that. I do have the scales.
That's all right. No, they're good tips, and that's something I hadn't thought to run through with them yet.
Also, never underestimate the value of a good elbow strike. Somebody's giving lip behind the bar, and you suspect that they might be about to go for. I mean, I know that particularly with humans, you've got really easy to nick you in kidneys.
Yeah.
What you want to do at that point is, while no one's looking, just grab a fist with your other hand and just lead with the elbow. Wham! Try to get them on the shelf of the jaw or the nose. Unless they're half orc, then go for the testicles.
When it's a half orc, fighting dirty is usually your best bet.
I am learning so many things.
You know. Oh, dear sweet Paylor, why did I not tell you to go away first?
And as Nora leaves with the admonishments of how would your mothers and Lyra feel about you starting fights in taverns, we will leave it for the time being, and Nora will be busy with shrines and cleansing and anything that'll give us an edge when we go to get that sword, because if it got peeled off a battlefield like that and killed something that sounds as big and nasty as that thing, we want it.
Yes, we do.
Yeah.
And if I'm tested every step of the way, I better make sure that I have studied appropriately.
And if Nora wants to, she can send Flitty probably, because Sunshine is refusing to move from Darvin's shoulder because he needs keeping an eye on. And if
really
you're not
do.
going to be there to do it, then I guess it's my job. I can't keep him, but I can adopt him for the afternoon. Actually wraps a wing around his head.
I have no idea what it's saying, but it's adorable and I love it.
But what Nora can do is write a note to have Flitty take to Clarity, saying, you know, we're in the bar. There's going to be talking information and lunch. Lunch smells amazing. Come join them. I've got God stuff to do.
Yeah, because I still have all the quill and stuff, so I'm gonna grab those out of the bag real quick and write that off and see, and you know, ask Process if he'll ask Flitty to take that to Clarity. So.
Yeah.
Okay. It actually sort of, except can I ask if I can have a piece of mutton from her stew first? She hasn't got that much left. She must be done, right?
I will convey this to Nora.
Of course, and I fish one out and hold it up, and you know.
And actually lands on the side of her hand, like a hunting hawk, and. Nope.
I love that.
Nope.
Yeah, offer it to him.
Actually, sort of licks his lips a little bit to get any bits of stew gravy off, because it says to first that I don't want to get the message all gravy, and then grabs it in his mouth. Off he goes.
All right, and then I'm off to the shrine. Yay!
And we will. I know we ran long, even for the extra 20 minutes waiting for Ethan. Sorry about that, but I did need to get us to Nora friendly stage, and some of that took a little longer.
Sorry, guys.
Did it too? No, it's fine. Real life happens, and I also admittedly did want a way to get Clarity in easier.
Mm-hmm.
That's a great way to do it. It's a great entry and exit point.